Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Neves brings it down on the volley. Oh, you must be kidding me! Ruben Neves has just struck a sensational goal. Oh, it's heard in! It's the underdog doctor who arrives. Oh, the brilliant Belgian in the right place at the right time. Calls it all. That's unbelievable. Jean Martinho has whipped it into the far top corner. Can you believe this?
A very good evening and welcome to Wolves TV, live from the home of football, the Golden Palace of Molineux. Season's greetings to you all as well. This festive fixture, Wolves against Tottenham Hotspur. And as you can see, I am sporting my Christmas present from Tomo. My beard baubles are in place, and me and Tomo are also in our Christmas jumpers as well, although Tomo's got his covered up at the minute.
Oh, there you go.
Because it is absolutely bitterly cold.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't say that we are not cheesy in the extreme. Welcome, first of all, to our at-home pundits, say Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme, the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, alongside me as ever. And we hope that you all had a very Merry Christmas. I'm going to take these off, Tomo, whilst we get into it, because we're slightly worried about what our guests might make of it when they join us a little bit later on. Chris Iwelumo, it wasn't quite the kind of festive Christmas we were really hoping for in the lead up to it with that defeat at Burnley. What lessons do you think they'll have had to learn coming into tonight's game?
Well, you know, it is an interesting one. I think after the result against Chelsea, I think you want to go and try and build on that. I think Nuno himself would have questioned himself. You know, I think something that he's had us guessing all the time because he's trying to implement a different style. Because it worked so well against Chelsea, and I've got to say it wasn't a smash and grab. We had a lot of the ball in that game, and he just felt, you know what, let's carry it on. Let's stick with the personnel. Let's go into that Burnley game. And you know what, it was very evident that there wasn't an outlet. You know, like I think Fabio Silva was fantastic against Chelsea as he stretched the pitch for us. And when we went with Podence and Neto, as mobile as they are, and you can speak to Tomo, Keanes yourself, you know, they come to the game because they're such good footballers. They want to get on the ball, so they get attracted to it. Whereas they don't really think, I'm going to be staying away. I want to be playing in behind. We had so many opportunities against Burnley that we could just play a quality ball down the side because they were quite a high defensive line, surprisingly. But we never asked that question in behind, even when we're in good possession of the ball. So I think the players will take a lesson from that as well. But again, tonight's a very different game. Tottenham's coming. They're not in great form in the Premier League. You know, no win in the last three. You know, 2 defeats in the last two against good teams. But under Jose Mourinho, they're more defensive. You know, they play counter-attack football. But when they do counter-attack, more often than not, it ends with an attempt on goal, a chance across a corner.
Well, there's some really interesting elements about the team news for both teams tonight. We'll take a look at the Wolves lining up in just a second, but Kyle Ikeme going back to the back four, an essential two of Conor Cody and Romain Saiz, and Adama Traore coming back in, trying to get that numbers in attack. It is pretty much the most attacking lineup we can put out right now.
I think so as well, with personnel as well. Might be difficult to stick with that three at the back, I think. And he's probably thinking the way the Tottenham play, they do like to counter-attack. So there's a chance we could have a lot of possession tonight at times. So maybe they've got a lot of players behind the ball at times, and we need a bit of magic from Podence, Neto, Traore to try and open Tottenham up, because we know Jose Mourinho is very organised. We know Tottenham can be very organised and sit in at times, as Looms has said, and maybe he's looked at that and maybe thought that this is the right person now for this game.
because Tomo, Looms especially, Looms, I'll come to in a second on this. You were kind of both very positive about generally the way they played in this shape against Villa a couple of weeks ago. They might have lost the game from that late penalty, but very much they looked good going forwards and created lots of chances. Do you expect them to be able to do the same tonight with that shape?
I think so as well. So look, I think look, they played well against Villa. There are a lot of opportunities, but you've got to be clinical. And against teams like Tottenham, you've got to be with the firepower that they've got with Son and Kane. So you can't afford to keep missing chance after chance. And look, I expect us to have quite a bit of possession with the way that we're going, but I'm expecting us to put Tottenham on the back foot as well. I would hope with the strike force that we got that we're going to chase them down. We're going to make it difficult for them to supply the lads up front, because that's going to be key as well, to make sure that we put pressure on the ball to stop them from picking out that pass. Because if you give them that much space and time, they're going to hurt you. And look, he's changing formations as he goes. So look, there's no volley in there again tonight. So look, we know that if we go on our game, we've got to compete. And I don't think we did it as well at Burnley. Even though we had a lot of possession, I don't think we hurt Burnley at all.
But spot on.
Yeah.
What Tom was saying there, when you've got possession of the ball, you have to be doing something with it. It's not all this passing side to side. And I thought that was something that we were probably guilty of against Burnley. We weren't really creative at the other side of it. But again, what Tomo said, you've got the likes of Martial, you've got Semedo that's going to be bombing forward tonight. You've got 3 players in behind Fabio Silva that can drive with the ball. I mean, they get at players, they take the ball with them, they commit players, create space for others. So you're looking at it, if you've got your fullbacks bombing forward, you've got Saiss, Cody, and then it's either Neves or Martinho. Whoever has the freedom to go forward, and they'll be sharing that, because Moutinho is all over the place. When he goes forward, Neves will just sit and protect that back two when the full-backs bomb forward. And we should have a lot of players in attacking areas. And I'm talking about the midfield third and the attacking third. But it's what we do. Fabio Silva's massive for us. I think his link-up play is excellent. I've got to say, very impressed with his link-up play, and he'll bring other players in for sure.
The only thing there, Carl Ikeme, I don't want to come across all kind of Scrooge and Grinch-like at this time of year, but you look at the strength of the bench, and without Willy Bolly and without a couple of others, no Leander Dendoncker again tonight, it is a very young, inexperienced bench with not many attacking possible changes. You look at some of the names that go through there. Theo Corbeanu has scored a couple of goals recently for the under-23s against Albion in a derby game, but is more of a wide player to come through. So given how Wolves tend to struggle in not scoring the first goal in a lot of games, how important actually is it that they do get on top of Spurs tonight, because they don't have much to try and change it if they do find themselves behind?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important to be clinical anyway. I think that's probably what the fellas are saying about the Burnley game. We can also say about the Villa game as well. That we had a lot of chances, we wasn't clinical, and I think that's, while we've played this formation, I don't think we've created chances at times and looked exciting, but we've not been clinical enough. And I think it's important for the senior players now, especially with us looking a little bit light, especially with options up front to come off the bench, to really take control tonight. I know we've got a few of the younger boys on the bench, and I'm sure if they come on, they'll give it their best and give us the energy that we need. But I think it's down to the front four to really give us more. I was really impressed with Fabio from what I said against the Burnley game. I'm buzzing that he's got his goal as well, give him the confidence, and he's starting to grow as well. So I think it's important, as I think we're all saying, is that the front four take control, and the whole team's got to take control. Let's be honest, but it's not always down to them to always be scoring goals. We need goals from other places. But I think if that's my one criticism about us in the last month, or probably for this season, to be honest, is that we've not been clinical enough at times, or we're not created enough, or when we have created enough, we've not been clinical. So I think that's a big thing for us at the minute, is to be a bit more clinical, because we know we can see a game out. I believe we can see a game out.
We've got to remember that Emiliano Martinez won man of the match that day for Villa as well. So he's pulled out an absolutely great performance. So again tonight, if we can have as many chances as that, and we ask those questions, then I'm sure that it'll be a very different story.
Carl's right there, isn't he? Because, and listen, we brought this up a couple of times, Adama Traore hasn't scored a goal for a calendar year. It was the Man City game this time last year. We look at Ruben Neves and João Moutinho haven't scored a Premier League goal since November of last year. They're the kind of areas where we need more, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, we've spoke about it time and time again, haven't we, between us, about that we've got to contribute in other areas of the field. You look at Neto, you look at Podence, who are having opportunities. Traore's got to start contributing for me. And say all the talent that he's got, I say if he can add that to his game, then he's going up a fold as well. So, like for me, I think that all that front four have got to score goals. They've got to be offering opportunities. He's playing them to create opportunities in front of goal. He's playing them for them to score. So there's no reason why they shouldn't. But we've touched on it before. We've got to put them away.
I think as well, looking from last season as well, we was getting goals from a lot of different areas. Then Duncan will be popping up. Duck, who's on the opposition team today, will be popping up with goals. Obviously, Raul's can't be with us for now, and Troy was bringing his fair share of goals. Yatta was getting goals from multiple players. Where if you look at it at the minute, I'm sure if we're going to say who's going to score tonight, I think all of us is going to say Neto. Neto's going to be our first choice, and apart from that, you kind of thinking, well, maybe hopefully Troy will do it. Maybe Silva's time, maybe his confidence will grow today. Podence possibly, but you're not seeing another goal threat at the minute from the rest of the team, which is important as well, because we can't. While Raul's out and he's our talisman, we can't just rely on a young Fabio Silva to be netting week in, week out.
On Adama Traore, and it's something that I've looked at and I've thought about quite. He's when he's at it, you can't defend against it, but you know what's coming. Do you understand what I mean by that? Yeah. I mean that he always takes it to the outside and he always gets the cross in. No matter if there's three men in front of him, I would give him more of a free role. I would like him to be central, because then he's all over. Then he's scoring goals like what he did against Man City, because he's in those areas. He's basically down one side, and I just think when he's at it and he's confident, I know that Nuno's put a lot of work in to that distribution and that service and the crossing, because that's been right on the money, but it's taken a little bit away from him driving into those central areas, picking the ball up there, and then running at defenders. And I just feel that it's. And you know what? Against West Ham, they sit and play two fullbacks against them. The following game, it was Fulham at home. They do the exact same. There's two fullbacks. So you know what? If he floats inside, that's going to cause a fullback all sorts of problems, Tomo, is it not? So yeah, I think he can bring more. Yeah.
But you know, like all the teams are showing him down the line, and they're either doubling up, tripling up. If somebody comes across just to support him, what's wrong with a little ball into the box, into a player that's got three players on him? There's got to be spare players somewhere. And for me, okay, we know what he's going to do, because he's going to get down the line, because they ain't going to catch him. But change it a little bit, just spruce it up a little bit, where we're going to actually look for that little ball into the box and hopefully just get some kind of shot.
I agree with what you're saying is that try something different. But as well, if it goes back to the point of more players getting more goals, if he's getting to the byline and putting the ball in the box, why are we not scoring?
Yeah. But wait a minute, all of us have just criticised Traore, saying he needs to bring more goals.
Yeah,
so wait a minute, if he's creating chances and goals for others, for me, it's job done. But if he's looking at himself saying, I need to bring more goals, I agree with what Tomo says. He needs that player that he can come inside and link up with. That's what Jimenez does. That's what Fabio Silva does. But more often than not, Traore, because he's unstoppable, will go to the outside. And I think that's another part of his game, another dimension, that he can come inside, drive inside.
Point though, isn't it? Though, and I guess, Carl Ikeme, you're making the point that it needs more people to gamble and get in the box, because there's no point in putting it in there when you've only got one or two smaller guys.
It's his game, isn't it? It's his game being not on the touchline, but going past players on the wing. That's his game. I agree he should be scoring more goals, and I agree that we should be scoring more goals, but I feel that if he's putting the ball in the box and he does go past defenders 9 times out of 10, then he's putting the ball. It's the personnel, Carl. I don't want to come back to it, and I know we're all thinking we just miss Jimenez. I think that's the thing.
But Dendoncker as well.
Dendoncker as well. But I think that's my problem in essence, is that we're not getting goals from other areas, and he keeps doing. If he does keep getting down the line, keep putting balls in the box, and then take a pop more. But I think him coming inside, he can try and add that to his game. But I don't think that is his game. His game is to get the ball one-on-one with someone and take him on.
very quickly, because we've got to move on, because we've got our first guest ready and waiting. Just on that point about Dendoncker that you're just making there, Looms, because against Villa, Dendoncker had 2 glorious opportunities.
Massive.
He was getting into the penalty area. He's not there tonight. And Neves and Moutinho, neither of them is really their game to arrive late in the penalty area. So would you be asking one of them to start doing it? Or do you then have to go down a different route and say to Adama, listen, we're not going to have the late arriving midfielder, so you're going to have to do something different? Kind of what Keems is saying, the opposite point to that.
No, Mikey, you're spot on. But it's about the quality of ball. Now, and I've said that how many times? I think I've said it in the last show as well. What Arsenal used to do, they had strikers that had movement in the box. So it wasn't a cross. It was basically whipped across for a player to come on. It's all about timing. So it's the type of cross. And it's difficult for Traore to actually get that quality, as in the quality across for a striker like myself, for Jimenez, is right on the money. For Dendoncker arriving late, spot on. But when you've got Fabio Silva that's not quite aggressive in those areas, it's got to be a different ball. It's got to be one of those between the goalkeeper and the last defender. They're a nightmare to defend, Carl, aren't they? When the striker's coming across and it's just a touch towards goal.
Definitely, yeah.
So difficult, and that's what we've got to think about. Now, Neto does it from the left-hand side. You know, he does that ball. He can hang it up, but he can also whip it across for those one running across the front. You know, exactly like what Giroud's goal for Chelsea against us was like. It's all about that ball coming across, arriving at the right time. And I just feel that Traore's definitely got the quality to do it. But again, when you've got Fabio Silva in there, who's not going to be that aggressive, that kind of, you know, that physical presence in the box, it needs to be a little bit, because his movement's there. You know, Fabio Silva, the one that he hit off the post was outstanding. And then that's all movement. That's all down to his movement and knowing exactly where he is.
Okay, let's take a pause. We may well come back to this because it is a really interesting discussion, but we have our first guest ready and waiting to talk to us on Matchday Live Extra tonight. A big welcome to Wolves TV, to a man who played for both Tottenham and for Wolves. Welcome, Darren Anderton. How are you, my friend?
Hi, how you doing? How are you all?
Hi, Darren.
Very well,
Hey,
Darren. Darren, we're just having quite a heated discussion about Wolves playing quite well, but not scoring goals, or not scoring enough goals, which kind of feels a bit familiar to your time playing in Old Gold under Glenn Hoddle. A very good team to watch, but didn't always score a great deal.
No, that's fair enough. But I think Wolves' top man's out at the moment, isn't he? Which makes it very tough. I think any team would miss him, and it was a horrific injury. But I have to say, I am one who I love the way that Wolves play the game. Love the way that they get the ball down. They've come into the league and they've been a breath of fresh air. Totally get the frustration of not scoring goals, because when you dominate games, that's when you have to score goals. In the Premier League, you just watched, West Brom get a point at Liverpool just through Liverpool not finishing them off. And I think that's what can be said for Wolves quite often, to be fair.
Darren, you were a box-to-box midfielder. You brought goals as well. You said there the talisman is gone. So does that responsibility fall on someone else to be arriving into the box at the right time, because the quality is coming from both wings?
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think that, throughout my career, I used to set up a lot of goals, but I had managers who always get on my and say, come on, you've got to get in the box. You've got to score more goals. And I think that's fair, and especially when your main man's out. And Wolves got so much quality in there, haven't they? Neto and Podence, different class. Traore should score more. So, with all that talent that I've just spoke about there, that's a team that shouldn't be talking about not scoring goals. So it's up to those individuals to go and do the business.
Just another question on that exact point that Looms makes, Darren, is that as a midfielder, how do you add more goals to your game if that's what's being demanded of you as well?
I think it's just down to yourself. You've got to change your game a little bit, I suppose. I mean, I think I was always a wide man that would, my thing was to get half a yard and whip balls in the box. But I would have managers, even from Jim Smith at Portsmouth when I started out and I was flying. He was like, yeah, you've done all right, but a good game is scoring a goal and setting up a goal with someone with your sort of quality. So I always try to take it on board. You always try and keep the shape of the team, though, as well, maybe being out wide and those sort of things. Just a matter of getting the right balance. And it could be something that you work on possibly within shape in training and that sort of thing.
We've seen quite a few times, Darren, in recent games that Wolves have created chances. Is that the kind of thing that you would say is a positive to take from it? Would you rather be in a position where you are sometimes missing opportunities rather than not having them at all?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, there's no that's what it's all about, and that's what top players do. You know, people talk about someone who's going through a rough patch. You know, that player's still got to get in the box because he's got to believe he's going to score. I think the one thing with the game that I watched the other night against Burnley, I felt like Wolves didn't look like they were going to score, and I think that's a worry. And you know, players coming, everybody coming to the ball because that's the philosophy of the way the team play as well. You've got to have people who want to get in behind, stretch the team, you know, the opposition, so that those quality players like Podence and Neto can get on the ball in those areas between the midfield and the forward line.
On what you're saying there, Darren. Oh, sorry, you talk. On what you're saying there, Darren, about getting in behind and playing on the front foot. Against a Tottenham side under Mourinho, it's very different. He plays a low block. They kind of sit in, they kind of set traps. So you've got to have a plan B as well, haven't you?
Patience. I think if I was playing against Spurs at the moment, I'd be like, just be patient. You do not want to go behind against them. But equally, if you can nick that first goal, Tottenham are struggling to break teams down, I think, you know, the way that they've been playing. But, you know, Harry Kane, Sonny up top, you've always got an opportunity for those sort of players to do things on their own without going into the pattern of play that Jose has played. You know, as you know, Tottenham fans are sitting in the same position. You know, we've been pretty dull to watch at times, but we've got those players that can do things that doesn't basically means it doesn't matter what sort of style of play you have.
Yeah, so they've got Son and Kane up front. So, but what has Mourinho brought to the rest of the team? So, look, they always struggle to keep teams out, didn't they? So, what do you think he's changed?
I just think it's his mentality. You're first and foremost, you're difficult to beat, and I think there's no doubt about it. Spurs have always been a team that traditionally, first and foremost, you go out and you play entertaining football, and you create chances, and because of that, many games you've been far too open in the middle of the park, or you know, to protect the back four. He's come in this year, and especially I think since the West Ham game where they conceded the 3 late goals, I think he's just said, all right, that's enough of that. We are now going to play this way. We're going to have two players sat in front of the back four. They're going to protect, and we'll go from there. And that's the way that Mourinho does things. And to be fair, I'm a little bit surprised it's taken this long to get to that point, but it has been a little bit dour to watch, but we have been getting results.
The thing with Tottenham, Darren, is that they have so many talents in that squad. I mean, you even look down the bench tonight, and Alderweireld, Lamela, Sissoko, Ali, Bergwijn, Aurier. I mean, there are players on their bench that would get into most Premier League starting 11s. Is it just they have too much, an abundance of talent? They don't know how to get them all in a team.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, you have to look that, you know, Gareth Bale's come in and he hasn't really had a look in as such. I think, you know, the manager has really trusted Steven Bergwijn, although he hasn't done the things that we probably expected of him going forward. He's a real top team player, works hard, helps protect his fullback, and that's what Mourinho wants. So, yes, we've got so much talent. It's unbelievable, and it's great to go and watch them when they're in full flow. And I think that is the problem when you get the frustration of playing certain games where they're not really at it and they're not playing with that enthusiasm to get the ball forward and create things as that you would like to see.
Just to add to that, I'm not saying that he's under pressure at all at Tottenham. I know that there's going to be some realism about what they can achieve, but how long do you think that he can continue to play this style of football? Because me as a fan of Tottenham, always watching them, I've never seen you play this dull. I know it's not always been winning football, but it's always been exciting, and I've always felt that Tottenham fans expect to see that sort of football. So do you feel like he has to win something playing this way, or the fans?
I think you're right. I think it does just all boil down to results. If you get the results, I mean, we played against Manchester City, won 2-0, and people were talking about how brilliant Spurs were. Were they really? They got the 2 early goals and then they sat there and Man City just couldn't break them down. So in that sort of performance, a dogged performance, it was different class. Not entertaining as such. You know, Chelsea the week before, 0-0. You take those results. I think that it's about trying to win a trophy, and I think that there is, you know, obviously a great draw in the Carabao Cup. Hopefully get to the final of that and go on from there. But I'm with you. You know, I've spoken to people that have gone on about how brilliant they were in those 2 or 3 games. And I said, well, let's wait and see how we do against teams that we should beat, and let's see how that goes. But it has been a little bit down. I honestly believe that having no fans in the stadium has probably helped at times, because Spurs fans, if you play that way and you're not getting results, they'll definitely let you know.
Darren, it kind of brings us neatly back onto talking about your time at Wolves, because we talk about the kind of that desire to get results over the stylistic performances and whatnot. Every player that we speak to from your era says they loved working under Glenn Hoddle, and he was probably one of the best coaches they ever played for in their career. And yet, if you ask the fans from that period, they talk about just being too many draws.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I remember it. I was only there for a year, and it was kind of frustrating for me, coming there to play games and didn't play as much as I wanted to. But it just felt like the team was always, it wasn't settled. There was always Glenn was always tinkering and changing things. So it was never really a settled team. I mean, obviously, I knew Glenn from England, Tottenham, and I knew the way he liked to play football, and that's a reason that I came there. But it really was, it felt like you were playing games, and it actually felt like, there were times where, we're playing good football here, but you don't feel like there's a goal coming at times. And that was always, that's frustrating. You're on top of a team. You need to score goals, and that's how you win games, especially in that league. I mean, it's the Championship then. It's a tough league. You've got to win those games.
Just before we let you go, obviously I know you are more associated with Spurs than you are with us, but this is Wolves TV, and you did play for us last. So if we push you for which way you think it's going to go tonight, don't feel under any pressure. We're going to make you say Wolves, but which way do you think?
I have to say, I've told a lot of people, I think it's going to be a draw, but sitting on the fence, I think that both teams, desperately need to do with the result, but I think it's going to be really tight. I really do. Okay. I do believe it'll be a draw, I'm afraid.
That'll do.
Hopefully plenty of goals.
Safe answer. Thank you, Darren. Really appreciate your time. All the best.
Thank you, Darren.
Cheers, guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the game.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Darren Anderson, joining us on Matchday Live Extra tonight. A man who played for both Spurs and Wolves. An interesting factor tonight, Carl Ikeme is another man who has played for both Spurs and Wolves in Matt Doherty. What do you think will be going through his mind lining up against the team that he made his name out for so long?
I think it's going to be a bit of a weird emotions for him. I suppose there's no fans as well here, which will make it strange for him. I don't know if that'd be a good or bad thing. I'm not sure they'd give him stick, but I'm sure he's excited about coming back. He's going to feel like he's at home because he was here for so long, but I'm sure he wants to prove a point, because he's been in and out of the Tottenham team at times as well, and he's going to want to try and cement his shirt. So I think that he'll be excited about coming back, but also wanting to stick on us as well. To be honest, there's no friends when that whistle blows, and he's going to want to do the best with Tottenham. So I'm sure after he's going to enjoy seeing everyone, but obviously he wants to keep his shirt as well at Tottenham, because he's been in and out, like I said before.
Tomo, I was watching him earlier when Spurs arrived, and Ruben Neves ran up behind him and gave him a little bit of a playful dig, almost as if to say, look, you might be our mate, but you ain't in our shirt anymore.
Not when the whistle goes, I'll tell you. No, I remember doing myself when I left here and went to Tranmere. So I think we had Wolves at Molineux and something like the 4th or 5th game back. And I say, look, it was just, he's very nervous about coming back. So you don't know what to expect. So look, I suppose not having the fans here to probably help him a little bit. So look, but he was always a great player for Wolves for me. So look, I was disappointed when he left. I thought he did really well, but again, so look, players move on. I understand that, but he'll be looking forward to it. And as Looms and Carl was just saying on there, so look, he'll come here, he'll want to win. And say he'll be nervous, I think, when he first comes, coming back to your club that you spent so many years here.
It's an interesting one. I guess Looms, you're probably the only one that's played against a former club. I can't remember Tomo ever playing against Wolves after you moved on.
I moved to Tranmere. I just said, look, that 3rd or 4th game when I left, I went to Tranmere, and then I come back here. I played against Wolves.
Blanked that out.
You weren't born then, Mikey.
I wasn't, no. It was such a long time ago.
Is it the black and white stage? You know?
I'll tell you what. Terrible, Keems.
I love the fact that was Keems that said that and not me.
Sorry.
Yes, Keith.
Spending too much time with me, that's the problem.
It's rubbing off.
Right, let's quickly move on and get our next guest in, because Wolves has become a club so kind of franchised with Portugal. We can speak to the first player from Portugal who played for Wolves. Delighted to welcome to Wolves TV, Jorge Silas. Welcome to you, Jorge. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. How are you?
We're very well. How are you? Where are you watching from tonight?
I'm watching you from Portugal. I'm at home. Afternoon, football afternoon. All the afternoon is football. So right now I'm prepared to see also the Wolves versus Tottenham.
Everyone we get on, George, from Portugal, like we had Abel Xavier on the other week, and we always point to the fact that they should really support Wolves because we are the Portuguese club now. You actually have a good reason to support Wolves anyway.
No, indeed. We have 9 players, nine Portuguese players in Wolves. More the staff people. I think that maybe more 5 persons with Nuno. So I think that Wolves in Portugal, Wolves have a big number of fans because we are also, of course, that we like also Mourinho. It's true, but because Wolves have so many Portuguese players, we always want Wolves to win. Myself is also the connection that I have with the club because I was there 1 year. Was a fantastic experience. So joining the fact that we have so many players, the fact that I play in Wolves is also a reason that I want to Wolves win today.
That Nuno Jose factor you mentioned, how big will that be in Portugal tonight? Will people be looking at that as the kind of battle of the 2 Portuguese managers?
Yes, for sure. It's true that the league is starting now. It's 10 games, 11 games, but the people actually 15 games, no, 15 I think right now, 14, 15. But the people is always aware that's what Mourinho does and also Nuno, because Nuno, the idea of the Portuguese people is that Nuno is doing an amazing job in Wolves, and it's true. He goes to the championship, he wins the championship with 99 points. Is a fantastic. And also the 2 years in Premier League, 7th place is very good. So this year we are also aware to see what he can do. We know that Premier League is a very difficult league, but Nuno is doing an amazing job. So we are looking for what Nuno do and also Mourinho do, because Mourinho is always a reference for all the people, not just the fans, also the coaches.
Georgie, I have to ask you, since we're talking about Mourinho and we're talking about Nuno, we've all spoke about how he improves the players individually. You know, it's one of those things, under Nuno, players get better. Game in, season out, they improve. Under Mourinho, he wins trophies. The players don't really get better, but he gives the team a philosophy that they win trophies. You know, so there is a big difference between the both.
Okay, Nuno, actually, what you said is true, because sometimes Nuno picks some players from Portugal that's the people on the beginning, they don't believe. You know. So some players that he pick, okay, we see okay, they are good players, but most of them we don't believe, or most of the people don't believe that they can improve so much like they are improving with Nuno. He's doing a really amazing job, not just in the table, the points, the victories, but also the way that the players they are improving is amazing. Mourinho, when he starts, he was more like this. Okay, I can tell you because it was my coach. Okay, his first big job like first coach was my coach, and he also do this job. Okay, in Porto, you can remember in Porto he do an amazing job. When he goes to Porto, Porto was fourth in the table, really bad because fourth place to Porto is not good. But also he improved the players, he win champions, he win titles, international titles. And it's true that the last years he are looking more for the titles because also he are in big clubs that the players that are in the very, very big level. So I think that, for example, if Nuno goes to one big club with these top players, probably will start to looking more in titles also because the gap of not the gap, but the way that the players they can improve is not so much like we are doing, like we are seeing now.
Just to add to that about players that are unknown, which Nuno's bringing in, we've got a young Fabio Silva up front for us at the minute. How much do you know of him, and how much can he improve?
So Fabio is this kind of players that's okay. We are looking with big talents. He's a big talent, but we don't know. We don't know if he will make something like Jota, for example. Okay, but Nuno sees something in him because they pay big money for him also. But Fabio is a big talent. What I see is that Nuno gives them chances to play that probably will not have in Portugal or in Porto, specifically in Porto. So this chance to play the games, the minutes, I think that he will improve. We cannot say that if he will do, or if he will be another Jota or another Pedro Neto, because Pedro Neto is his performance now it's very, very high, also in the national team. We will see, but I believe that Nuno know what he do when he pick Fabio.
George, we talk about all these Portuguese players. How proud are you actually that you were the first Portuguese player to pull on the old gold? You led the way.
It's true. I'm proud to be part of the club because it was one of the best clubs that I play like a club. You know, the fans, they are unbelievable. You know, the Latin fans, they are a little bit different. I believe that in England, the fans, they support no matter what. If you give everything, they support no matter what. You can lose because losing is part of the game. If you give everything, okay, they are with you. The Latin fans, they are not so like this. They don't see the one lose game. The first thing that they think is, okay, you don't give everything, but it's not this. It's not like this because all the players they want to give the better that they have. Sometimes you lose. So this experience, and it was a difficult year for Wolves because we go down. But I feel that the fans are with us. So this is an amazing experience, and I believe that every single player should pass for this experience, the English football.
George, it's been an absolute privilege to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live Extra tonight. Don't go anywhere just yet because we do a little prediction challenge and all the pundits, George, are terrible. I've been absolutely the best so far this season. So we need your help, basically, to help these boys try and get a prediction right. What scoreline would you go for tonight?
Okay.
What are you going for?
I'm sorry?
What scoreline would you go for tonight?
Oh, I think that 2-1.
2-1.
With Portuguese goals.
Go on, Tomo, as you moaned last time.
I was going to go to 2-1 again. Neto, first goal for me.
Okay, Tomo copying our guest once more. Carl Ikeme?
I'm going to go 1-1, you know.
Oh, on the draw.
Yeah, I'm going for the draw. I agree with Darren. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't think it's going to be an open game. And even though, obviously, I don't need to say that I want Wolves to win. It's just part. That's just standard. But I feel when Darren said 1-1, I was like, I can see that, and I don't think it would be a bad result either for Wolves. So I'm going to go 1-1.
Teams are on their way out. So very quickly, Chris Iwelumo.
2-2. 2-2 for me.
2-2. Okay, I'm going to go with my standard 1-0. I do.
We didn't ask you, mate. You're not involved.
We'll see what happens. George Silas, thank you very much indeed for joining us on Matchday Live Extra. We hope to see you again soon. More from Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme at half-time. And, of course, more from Tomo coming next. Don't go anywhere. This is Wolves TV, Matchday Live.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I've been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from League One, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Season's greetings for this festive fixture, a meeting of 2 rather out of form teams. Wolves have lost 3 of the last 4. Tottenham winless in their last 3. 4 places and 5 points separate the 2. The Old Gold haven't beaten Spurs at home in 10 years, but produced a memorable comeback to win the last meeting in London in March. And as comebacks go, perhaps only eclipsed by the performance a year ago to the day, as Nuno's side came from 2 down to beat the then champions Manchester City. A similar performance tonight would do much to banish those pre-Christmas blues brought on by defeat at Burnley last time out. Wolves have made changes from the side that started at Turf Moor. Marçal comes back in at left back in a revamped back 4 that includes Romain Saiz, Conor Cody and Nelson Semedo. Ruben Neves and João Moutinho are in midfield. Fabio Silva comes in to start, as does Adama Traore, with Daniel Pedence and Pedro Neto, the other 2, joining the attacking ranks. Spurs, of course, have a former Wolves man in Matt Doherty amongst their lineup. He starts on the right of a back 5, includes Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, Ben Davis and Sergio Reguilón, who performed so well for Sevilla against Wolves in the Europa League quarter-final back in August. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Harry Winks, along with Tanguy and Ndombele in midfield, and the potent strike force of Harry Kane and Son Heung-min are the 2 up top. All the players take a knee, and then we are good to go. With Ndombele stood over the ball, getting us started here at Molineux tonight. Wolves in gold shirts, black shorts and gold socks, against Spurs in their chain strip of green shirts, black shorts and green socks. Wolves playing from right to left as we look at it first half, and immediately Son Heung-min is in behind here into the penalty area and ends up playing the ball off an advancing Rui Patricio and behind for a Tottenham corner after less than 30 seconds of the game.
We've just seen that. He's just come from this right-hand side, right the way across the line of defence of Wolves. Son, he's got that touch, just took it around Patricio. But he took him a little bit too wide, stumbling a little bit as well. But you've got to be so careful of him with his pace as well, running beyond.
Wolves defending the South Bank end. Corner is taken right-footed from the left-hand side, whipped in towards the near post. It went almost all the way through the 6-yard box, comes to the edge of the area, and Ndombele strikes, and Ndombele scores. And Spurs are in front after less than a minute. Teed up on the edge of the penalty area, and it may well have caught Rui Patricio cold, who didn't see it till late. It wasn't fully into the corner at the near post, but it flashed past the Wolves keeper. And it's Wolves 0, Spurs 1, and we've barely got going at Molineux.
Yeah, never really dealt with it. He's come out, it's a good strike. And as you talked about there, I think it's caught Patricio, but unaware. Just watching it again. Oh, yeah, it's come past Saiz, I think it has. But it's not a great start, is it? It's a good strike from him, but it's just caught Patricio off in the pace of the ball as well.
A nightmare after Christmas.
Yeah, not a great start.
As Wolves have an awful long time, at least, to try and come back into the game. But we talked pre-game about that need to get some control early on and get in front and score the first goal. Well, it didn't take long for Spurs to answer all of that.
Well, you don't really get started at all after a minute, do you?
For the 9th time in 15 games this season, Wolves concede first. They did so in 21 of 38 games last season. It is becoming an issue, that.
It isn't, but also it kind of puts your game plan to waste as well, doesn't it? Because all of a sudden what you put out there and you talked and worked on all week, just put onto the back burners kind of thing. Got to start all over again, play it as it like it's 0-0, and they won't get frustrated by it. They'll just play their own game, plenty of time to go. But it's not a great start.
Doty on halfway, back to Sanchez. All the way back into his own half. Fabio Silva trying to close in and put pressure on Hugo Lloris, who clears to halfway. Neves nodding it forwards. Pedence flicking on Fabio Silva. It was a long way offside. So not the start that we were hoping or expecting here at Molineux this evening. Interception by Matinho. Here's Pedence. First time out to the left-hand side for Pedro Neto to try and take the ball forwards. Trying to go on the outside, whipping across in. Oh, and it flashed through the 6-yard box, just too far ahead of both Fabio Silva and Adama Traore.
I think that's where you've got to be breaking your neck to get in there for me. It's a great ball in from Neto. He's attacking Sanchez down this left-hand side for Wolves. Great ball across in between the keeper and that back line. You've got to get in there for me. Traore's got to be getting in there.
Wolves at least looking like a bit of a threat in the opening minutes here.
There's no doubt about it. They've got a threat. So like it's making sure that we can try and pick that body out in the area.
Kane early up towards Son Heung-min. And Ndombele trying to play it forwards for the advancing Matt Doherty. Cleared away. Lifted forwards by Højbjerg. And Cody will chest the ball back to Rui Patricio. Just seen on our TV screens that Raul Jimenez is here tonight and watching, which is a good sign to see.
He's here with Johnny as well. I saw him here as well. So they'll both be biting at the bit, trying to get themselves back as quick as possible.
I know Johnny has been out training on the grass recently. Raul Jimenez has been down at Compton a couple of times for a bit of a walk around, a catch up with the physios, and greetings from Nuno and the squad. So his continued absence has been an issue for this team.
Well, at the minute, you basically took all the goals out of the team, haven't you? So, okay, Neto's adding a couple to it, and Pedence scored a couple. But you've lost your main scoring machine, and it's not going to help.
Throwing for Spurs. Well,
free kick,
I get a free kick, yeah, just inside from the touchline. Just over 10 yards inside the Spurs half. Davis has stood over the ball. Will look to play it down the line to Reguilon. Infield towards Ndombele, who was challenged by Cody, who lost his footing. Spurs getting on with things. Reguilon down the left-hand side, up against Semedo. Semedo doing well to take possession away from him and clear it early up towards halfway, where Fabio Silva was battling with Eric Dyer. Hooked deep into the Wolves half, headed away by Neves. Down by Winks to Kane, and Ndombele back towards Kane. Semedo there to clear it first time to the halfway line again. Davinson Sanchez header went high in the air. On by Winks, away by Moutinho to Neto, who plays it down to Marçal. A little back heel finds Moutinho. Back to Marçal, and now Romain Saiss. Infield to Connor Cody. Interesting battle, that Semedo and Reguilon.
Yeah.
It's Barcelona v Sevilla last season. They'll know each other's game.
Well, hopefully Semedo comes out on top.
Neto wanting to take a quick throw in, but
about 20 yards up the pitch further. You can but try.
Jose Mourinho out to the edge of his technical areas. Marçal stands at 2 meters away from him and throws infield towards Moutinho. It's a clever one. He nods it down to Fabio Silva. Couldn't hold off the challenge of Matt Doherty. And Højbjerg up to Harry Kane, allowed to turn, trying to thread it forwards, and Kane was just caught a little bit late by Moutinho. He was protesting his innocence.
Well, I think that's a clever playing experience, isn't it? Kane was just about to pass that ball and he just clipped his ankle a little bit. Yeah.
I'm not so sure he did, based on that replay.
But as he's just bringing his leg back, I think he's just got into the way of him actually swinging it, I think.
I think Kane may have realised that he'd underhit the pass and
gone down.
Say generously fell to the floor.
I won't put it past him.
Paul Tierney is the man who's in purple rather than black tonight. Here comes Doherty up against Marçal. Marçal in with a strong challenge, and it was the assistant referee on the near side that didn't like that one.
But as you heard the scream from Bully on my left shoulder, he didn't agree with it. I thought he was just shoulder to him. Yeah,
7.5 minutes played.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that was shoulder to shoulder.
Well, Spurs with a free kick. A couple of yards in from the right-hand touchline. 14, 15 yards from the right-hand corner flag. There's a one-man wall, which is Pedro Neto. Everybody else in a gold shirt, back between the edge of the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. First man is Pedence as Son's free kick goes high to the far post, and it was Adama Traore challenging with Harry Kane, and Wolves will get themselves a free kick and a chance to clear their lines.
Yeah, well, they defended that one a lot better, didn't they? So, look, at least they got that challenge in. Ended up getting the free kick. But you've got to be so careful. So, look, again, with the pace and the quality that they've got in that top line.
So 8.5 minutes played. Wolves trailing by 1-0. Rob Nye in Calgary says, season's greetings. Last game I went to was the very harsh loss to Spurs this time last year. So hoping we put that right this year, 2-1. He did predict Matt Doherty to score for Spurs and very quickly amended it. And it just shows how good my predictions are, says Rob in Calgary. I don't think many were expecting such a fast start from Spurs. Certainly Wolves were.
I was going to say the Wolves defence didn't think that, did they?
They need to try and get a foothold in this. Spurs have seen plenty of the ball early on. They have it again through Davinson Sanchez. Wide to Doherty, just over the halfway line. To Winks, back down the line to Doherty. Infield to Son, back on again to Doherty. Across came Saiss, read the danger. Marçal did well to hold off a couple of challenges and play it backwards to Saiss, who's tried to switch the play to Semedo. It was risky, but he's managed to pick it off. And Semedo trying to drive over the halfway line at speed here. And across came Ben Davis and conceded the throw.
Well, I'm surprised the referee hadn't pulled it back for an infringement on Semedo. So I thought the second one, he's probably just felled him. But he did really well. So he's with that crossfield ball there, took it on his chest.
Semedo's throw gets it back from Neves. Back into his own half to Cody. Infield to Saiss, middle of the Wolves half, to his left to Marçal. Trying to feed it in towards Moutinho, who Flicks it wide for Neto, but too much on that pass, and out of play for a Spurs throw. Rocking Chair Dave joining us from South Wales, hoping for a 2-1 win with a goal from Fabio Silva. Rich Frampton is at home. Lisa's in Mexico City, shouting the mighty Wolves on. Great to have you all with us. Doherty's throw to halfway. Saiz is headed back into the Spurs half. Fabio Silva chesting it towards Neto. Doherty intercepted by Marçal. Gets it back from Matinho and plays it infield to Cody. Neves taking over in the centre circle. Tried to thread it through towards the run of Semedo. It was just intercepted by Reguilon, but Adama Traore gets it back from Semedo. Trying to skip infield away from one challenge and from two and from three. Excellent run to the edge of the box. Infield to Pedence. Shapes onto his left foot, strikes it low, and a comfortable save by Lloris down to his left-hand side.
Yeah, that's what you want to see from Traore, isn't it? He skipped past about 3 or 4 players there. Oh, great dribbling from him. Just couldn't get out of his feet, could he, Pedence? Create any power.
Neto closing in, putting pressure on Doherty, and it's forced Dyer just to hoof the ball out of play.
That's good play, putting pressure on them, stopping them from playing it from the back.
Good bit of tempo and momentum building Wolves' way at the minute. Marçal with the ball in hand, midway inside the Spurs half, down the left-hand touchline to Pedence, who feels a challenge of Davinson Sanchez, and they play on with Pedence on the floor, and Wolves are going to get the throw, and Pedence is still down, and eventually the referee will stop while he goes and checks on the Portuguese forward, who was holding his right ankle there and looks to be in a bit of pain.
Just going to have a look at it again.
I think he just stands on the back of his ankle there, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. I don't think there's any intention there, just looking at it again. Oh yeah, he's just caught the back of his ankle, hasn't he, Sanchez?
Just a little bit down the back of the Achilles and ankle.
Yeah, saw one. Yeah, it's just an accident, just closing him down, wasn't he, Sanchez? But it's a painful one down the back of the heel.
Accidental, but still worthy of a free kick, would you feel?
Yeah, well, look, it's still a foul, isn't it? Still an infringement, still contact on it.
Throwing in towards Fabio Silva, who's trying to hold his man off, and he goes down in the penalty area and pulled in. He had a good view of it, and he waved away the protests. As Ndombele tries to bring it forwards. Foot in by Marçal, but it sent it into the path of Son, who now finds Højbjerg. That's the left-hand side for Reguilon. Onto Harry Kane, Cody stepping in, Neves with a foot in, the ball comes to Son again. That's the right-hand side to Ndombele. Tanguy Ndombele cutting in field, left-footed cross from him, headed goalwards and just wide of the far post from Sergio Reguilon. End-to-end stuff.
It is, it's an open game, isn't it?
The first quarter of an hour here at Molineux. It's a good header by Reguilon, and Patricio was scrambling for a moment.
Well, there's pace on the cross. All he did was get a little flick onto it, didn't he?
Going back to that Fabio Silva wrestling match in the penalty area. Was there enough in there for a penalty for you?
No, not for me. Not for me. And that's one thing that he's got to bring into his game a little bit, and he will do. He's still a young boy, but he's coming up against big, strong centre-halves, and he's probably just muscled him a little bit out of it. But again, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to get that holding position with the ball in the penalty area.
There's Marçal. Back to Patricio, under pressure from Kane. Plays it to his right-hand side to Cody. Cody was trying to find Semedo or Traore, didn't quite do so. Saiz with an important block on Kane's pass. Højbjerg holding off Pedence. Here's Harry Kane, midway inside the Wolves' half. Taking it forwards towards the edge of the box. Matinho did just enough. Traore now holding off Ben Davis. Matinho again overhitting a pass, trying to set Semedo away. His radar's not quite been on target in the first quarter of an hour.
No, it's not. Tottenham put a pressure on the ball, haven't they? So it's made it difficult. He's still trying to do the right thing, still trying to win that initial pass and through to him.
Here's Fabio Silva over the halfway line. Infield to Pedence for Matinho. Lifting it high to Marçal. 15 yards over the halfway line. Taking it forwards to the midway point of the Spurs half. Out to the left-hand touchline for Neto. Infield towards Podence, just outside the left-hand side of the penalty area. Attempted cross, hits Davinson Sanchez and earns Wolves a corner.
Yeah, good play with Neto and linking up with Podence there. Thought the challenge was coming in. Podence just hesitated a little bit and then tried to just put that ball across. Tottenham were able just to get that block on.
Well, set pieces was a particular bugbear of yours last week.
Yeah.
Moutinho and Neto are both out by the left-hand touchline, drawn 2 players with them. Traore in the 6-yard box, 3 waiting to run from behind the penalty spot. Cody, Saiss and Fabio Silva. It's taken short to Neto, who hangs it high to the far side of the box. Cody nodding it back into the 6-yard box. No one there. And a comfortable take for Lloris.
Yeah, he's got all the time, hasn't he, Conor Cody? Unlike him as well. Usually picks out his player. Just made it easy for Lloris, didn't he? Just headed it straight into his hands.
Or Kane has just passed it straight to Traore. He didn't know was behind him. Traore running through the centre circle. Inviting Marçal to carry it forwards now. Neto out to his left-hand side. Traore's made a good run on the inside left and he finds him. Again, he's trying to turn his man. Davinson Sanchez goes to ground, wins possession and just evades Marçal to get it half clear. Wolves trying to press high and they've done so through Ruben Neves, who wins it back. Podence blocked off by Ben Davies in a very dangerous position here. Just to the right of centre as you look towards goal. Less than 25 yards out. Could this be the moment that Ruben Neves finally ends his Premier League goal-scoring drought?
It's a great position to be in. He initially did brilliant, didn't he? Neves winning that ball. Just puts it through his legs and he Podence through Ben Davies' legs, which earned the free kick.
There's a whole group of players gathered around the ball.
Oh, there'll be a few players who fancy this. It looks like it's Saiss who fancies it.
He does, you know.
Yeah.
Ruben Neves is there too. Moutinho, Neto and Podence moving away. Spurs trying to get their defensive wall, which is just inside the penalty area. Romain Saiss is the only man stood over the ball here. Neves has moved away. Wolves have put 2 players just in a gap to the side of the wall. And it'll be Romain Saiss to step up and strike it left-footed, and it hits the wall and comes back to him, and he tries an acrobatic volley and rather sliced it. Neves found Semedo, out to Neto on the right-hand side, looking to run at Son, past him, in towards the byline, still running, low cross blocked off, and Spurs had the numbers there and a big hoof clearance to halfway to allow them to push out.
Yeah, he did well there, didn't he, Neto?
Saiss, lovely ball out to the right-hand side to Semedo. Semedo trying to drift back infield, has support from Neves. Infield to Podence, on again towards Semedo, who's continued on and put pressure. Fabio Silva onto Podence, right-hand side of the penalty area. Daniel Podence, can he pick someone out here? Trying to find some room to deliver perhaps, and ends up passing it straight to Ndombele, and Spurs can get it clear.
Oh, it's a great little spell for Wolves out. They're putting loads of pressure on Tottenham's back line. Just missed that vital pass into there, Podence. Just tried to pick somebody out.
The one moment there, by the way, when Semedo slid in to keep the ball alive on the edge of the box, he actually, I think, took out Daniel Podence at the same time, which meant Fabio Silva had to wait to be able to try and slide it in, and then Spurs had the numbers back. So when Podence actually got the ball to feet, he was left waiting a little bit, wondering what he was going to try and do. Here comes Ben Davies up to halfway, blocked off by Fabio Silva. Semedo intercepting. Neves back to Saiss. There's been a good urgency about Wolves, despite being a goal down.
It is been a good reply from them, isn't it? So look, they've made it difficult for Tottenham. They pushed them back. Just got to try and create those opportunities now, though.
Neves wide to the right-hand side to Semedo, midway inside the Spurs half, back infield to Neves. It's down by Højbjerg. Cody across the centre circle for Moutinho. To his left-hand side to Saiss. Now in towards the feet of Neto in a central position. Neto playing it out. Overhits his pass for Marçal. Unfortunate, because it looked like Wolves were building up ahead of steam again there.
Well, I was just about to say they've been patient, Wolves, with the build-up and keeping the ball. And then all of a sudden just overhits that pass. It was the right option. It was just unfortunate. It was just a little bit overhit.
Neves intercepting again in attempted clearance. Martinho flicking infield to Podence, who loses possession to Ndombele. And Ndombele looking to drive at pace, and Neves tried to bring him down and couldn't do so. And Spurs now have 3-on-2, and it's Reguilon on left-hand side of the penalty area who strikes it straight at Rui Patricio.
I'll tell you what, I'm so glad he went left instead of right, because on his right-hand side, they had 3 against 2, and Harry Kane was the man who was on his right-hand side, and as he just punched the air, Harry Kane, he realised the ball should have come to him. But they had 3-on-2 there.
Well, Connor Cody has got a problem and has gone down. Wolves put the ball out of play. I think Ruben Neves might have got a yellow card in the moment for trying to bring down Ndombele on the counter-attack there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, good relief that it didn't come out right for me. It didn't come Harry Kane, because he had an option to pass it to him.
A little bit of concern for Connor Cody at the moment. Spurs still dominating possession just as things stand, but Wolves have been growing back into it.
Got a bit of a kick at Burnley, though, didn't he, as well, Connor Cody? Wonder if it's a little bit of a repeat of that one. Just got caught on the ankle.
He's been in the wars. Max Kilman is warming up down to our left-hand side. Wolves with issues over Willy Bolly's fitness and Leander Dendonker's fitness at the minute. Don't want to lose their captain as well. Willy Bolly in a box, I think, with Dendonker, Johnny and Raul Jimenez. They're all on their phones at the minute, or 3 of them are anyway.
All masked up, 4 of them. But
conversation's clearly not sprouting
Brilliant.
down there.
But you look at the 4 that are in there, they'd all be starting, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If fit. And that's the quality that we're just missing out on the minute. But look, it's a good squad that we got. We've got quality up there. So you're looking at the chances that we've had, or we've created in this early stage after going the goal down.
Seeing replays of the goal, Ben Davies teeing it up for Ndombele, and Patricio just took a couple of steps to his right, didn't he? Maybe anticipating a cross, do you think?
Well, I think it's hit early, isn't it? That's the thing. It's hit early. It's just gone past size, and it's just wrong-footed him, hasn't it?
Carl Ikeme's opinion on that at half-time as Connor Cody is up and on his feet and heading to the far touchline. Also keep an eye on the progress of their captain. Approaching the halfway point of the first half.
Well, Kilman's getting warmed up anyway, Nick. So it's just down this left-hand side, just in case.
The Spurs give possession back to Patricio, and we start again. Cody back on the field, ball at his feet, clipping it up towards Traore. Couldn't quite hold on to it. Ben Davies heading the ball out of play for a Wolves throw. Use the hashtag Wolves Live if you want to get in touch. At Mikey Burrows, at Wolves on social media. Your thoughts on the game so far? Semedo waits to take the throw in towards Podence. Controlled, played it back to Neves. Across to Saiz, midway inside the Wolves half. Low out to the feet of Neto, just short of halfway. Neto trying to run at Doherty. He just about held him up. Fabio Silva winning it back though, but it's span out of play for a Spurs throw just in front of Nuno. Doherty very close to his former head coach. By all accounts, he's very close to him when he was here. Referred to as a little bit of a teacher's pet at times. There's Reguilon. Doherty was certainly a favourite of Nuno's, that's for sure. 302 Wolves appearances for Matt Doherty in his 10 years.
I thought he did well here. Like I said, the way that we played with the 3 at the back, so it just suited him to a T, didn't it?
Well, he was the best right wing back in the country, from my view.
Well,
there's Ndombele onto Harry Kane into the penalty area, and Cody did just enough to stifle his run and allow Patricio to get out to it.
Well, you look at that as well, though. You had 8 goals missing as well. What he got for us last year, well, 2 years, wasn't it, on the run? 8 goals.
Yeah, it's very productive in the Premier League, scoring and creating. The man who's trying to replace him in the team, Semedo, here on halfway to Podence, back to Ruben Neves. Infield to Saiz, bringing it forwards up towards the halfway line, trying to set it in behind for Neto's run. Intercepted by Doherty. Moutinho on halfway to Pedence, who's allowed to turn and carry the ball forwards to Neto, back to Marçal. Infield to Moutinho. Now to Ruben Neves, a couple of yards ahead of the centre circle. Oh, and then Semedo, I think, didn't realise that pass was for him. Traore was quick enough to keep the ball in.
Well, I'll tell you what, no other man would have caught that, would they? Because I thought that was out of play.
Traore has beaten one, he's beaten two, and he's set off down the right-hand touchline.
Oh.
And then overhits his cross, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Well, he's had two great runs. The first one, so it did cause problems for Tottenham. Unfortunately, the second one not as effective as you would say. Just didn't get his foot round it, didn't pull the ball back.
Nuno did talk about Traore in his pre-match press conference, saying that he'd been carrying a bit of a foot injury since the last international break, and it's part of the reason why he's not been starting as many games as he would probably hope and expect to. And he had a lot of admiration for him for effectively playing through the pain during this period.
Well, that's great, isn't it? So if you have players who are willing to do that for you.
It's been very much needed with, well, Jimenez not available. Wolves don't have a huge amount of attacking options.
The only thing that he could do is say, look, if he did want to change things, is the formation, couldn't he? So he's got the four lads out there, all the attacking lads that he wants.
There's Marçal, blocked off by Son. Saiz will put his foot through it to clear to halfway. Fabio Silva did really well to get the better of Davinson Sanchez and now carry it forwards at speed deep into the Spurs half. On down the left-hand side to Pedro Neto, who races to keep it in at the byline. Cutting back and finding support from Marçal. Infield towards Moutinho. Into the centre of the half to Ruben Neves. Semedo pulling out to the right-hand side. Here he is, up against Ben Davies. Semedo trying to go on the outside. Low one in, Fabio Silva, and it ripples the side netting. Wonderfully worked move. And Fabio Silva came within a whisker of getting his first home goal in a Wolves shirt.
Yeah, but that's come from his movement there. He's just watching Semedo taking Ben Davies on. Great ball back. And it's the movement that does it. He's fractions away, straight into the side netting. But it's that movement. He's got away from Doherty, I think it was, who was trying to slide in. Just didn't get his foot round it enough, and you can see the disappointment on his face.
Okay, Wolves' youngest ever Premier League goal scorer when he netted from the penalty spot at Burnley on Monday.
Well, it just shows you the confidence that he's got, isn't it? So, look, again, willing to take the penalty. But he was unlucky there.
He started the move effectively, didn't he, with that challenge on Davinson Sanchez.
It was a great chest down there, wasn't he? Took the ball, and Looms touched on that before the game about where his link-up play, and you just saw an example of it there.
Pedence trying to set Neto away down the left-hand side, an awkward bounce for him to deal with. Battling away with Davinson Sanchez and
no chance.
The big defender going down. I think they kind of both swung for the ball, and he might have kicked the boot of Pedro Neto just afterwards.
Well, they've both gone for the ball there. So yeah, you can see he's kicked the bottom of his boot, but there's no malice or I'll say that's the modern game for you, though, isn't it? No tackling.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, yes.
During the war. Been watching a lot of Only Fools and Horses.
Have you?
Oh, the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it's class. It's class.
Pedence switching the play out to Semedo. It was an excellent ball. Semedo on for Adama Traore. Adama Traore trying to get to the byline, lifts his cross in, headed away at the near post by Davinson Sanchez, and it will bounce behind for a Wolves corner.
I'll tell you what, he's looked a threat down that right-hand side, hasn't he? Traore. That's 3 times now. He's got the beating of Ben Davies on that left-hand side for Tottenham. Just got to keep going, and hopefully he'll pick out that pass and get a Wolves player at the end of it.
We have played nearly half an hour at Molineux tonight. Wolves 0, Spurs 1. Corner left-footed from the right-hand side. Neto stood over it. Moutinho close to him. 4 waiting to run from beyond the penalty spot. It's played short to Moutinho, who whips it in. Saiz couldn't quite get there and hooked away by Doherty on the edge of the area. Deep into the Wolves half. Marçal collects. Short to Podence on halfway. Scooped to the left-hand side to Neves. Had to wait for the ball to come to him. And under pressure from Ndombele, plays it backwards to Patricio.
I think it's been a good response from Wolves, hasn't it, since going the goal down?
They've created some decent opportunities. They've worked hard. They've tried to press high up the field.
And they've got in some good positions as well. I think Traore's had 3 or 4 runs that have caused a problem for Tottenham.
Not quite been able to get back into their shape at the minute. You know, Spurs played around, so Fabio Silva's wide left at the minute. Traore, main man up top, and Neto out on the right-hand side. Spurs continue to play it around on halfway. Martinho stepping in and winning it back though.
Yeah, great place, experience there. Just waiting for him to have a touch on it, Dembele. He just nicks it from him.
Saiss across to Cody. Back in field to remain Saiss. 10 yards outside his own penalty area. The left-hand side to Marçal. In field to Neves. To the right-hand side to Cody. Message from James coming through. Reckon we would have smashed Burnley with this setup. Let us know what you think. Hashtag Wolves Live. Wolves are behind, but they are looking fairly threatening. Podence's just lost possession in the Spurs half. And Harry Kane goes down in instalments under a challenge from Saiss.
But again, not giving him any time on the ball, kind of, because he can pick that pass over a variety of distances as well. So he did really well there, Saiss. Okay, he's just got into him a little bit and felled him. But that's what he's got to do, because you can see Kane just dropping a little bit deep, playing that number 10 role, as you could say, looking for the runners.
There is Harry Winks, short of the halfway line. It's the left of the centre circle, leaves it. Plays a 1-2 with Højbjerg. Now to Sanchez. Early one forwards towards Son, intercepted by Marçal. Talk about rough treatment for Harry Kane. He was one of the 4 booked last year in this game for fouling Adama Traore.
Well, I remember down in this bottom corner, wasn't he? So look, he's just gone straight through. He had no chance of getting the ball.
Anyone who watched the Spurs documentary on Amazon saw Jose highlighting Wolves as being masters of what you might call the dark arts of football.
The dark arts.
There's key fouls to stop attacks. Being nasty in a good way. Maybe they haven't been nasty enough at times this year. Saiss to Podence. He's got Semedo making a run to the right-hand side. Here is Semedo. Infield to Podence again. He's trying to play it early up towards Fabio Silva. Cleared as far as Neto on the edge of the area. Neto was trying to lay it off for Semedo. Cleared as far as Podence. A couple of yards from the corner of the penalty area. Infield to Semedo. It was a little bit behind him. Semedo trying to work it back through to Podence. Across came Dyer with the initial challenge. And then Reguilon just about holding off Semedo, and it came off the Wolves man. Now to play for a Spurs throw.
Fractions away there. Was it Podence just nearly got onto it? Last ditch tackle from one of the Tottenham defenders. I think it was Dyer.
If they can get this right, Wolves in the final third. They are looking much more of a threat this evening.
Well, they are. Well, they've definitely asked questions of Tottenham. So look, Tottenham have found it difficult to deal with it.
Marçal trying to play it in behind for the run of Adama Traore. His offside flag is going to go up against him, though.
But I think that's a great ball, though. I think if he times his run, that's a great ball just down the side. And we spoke about that last week against Burnley. Just put us into the space, just down the channels. Sometimes you've got pace up front. We've got people who are willing to run after it.
It's interesting, isn't it? Just a slight tweak for the last couple of minutes. Podence has gone out and played on the right, and Traore is a lot more central. And you and the boys were talking beforehand about maybe giving him more of a free role.
Yeah, just putting him in there rather than restricting him.
And Saiss winning it back on halfway. Neto now allowed to carry the ball forwards. He's going to try and lift it in towards Fabio Silva. It was just over the top of him. Came out towards Neves, who had to stretch to flick it to Daniel Podence. Now to Ruben Neves, to Podence again. Trying to skip in field away from Højbjerg, but Ben Davies was there. Spurs had the numbers, and Son able to try and carry it forward to the halfway line. And Dombele being held up by Marçal. And here's Son over the halfway line. Out to Doherty. Acres of space for Matt Doherty. Marçal going to close him down. Ball goes backwards to Winks. Field to Højbjerg. Wide for Doherty. Looked like he'd miscontrolled it, but assistant referee says it didn't go out. Højbjerg. It's it back from Sanchez, running through the centre circle from right to left. To Harry Kane. Wide for Reguilon. Infield to Son, 25 yards from goal. Back to Reguilon. Wide for Kane on the left-hand side. On to Reguilon in the penalty area. Well closed off by Saiss, though. Kept his legs closed, and it was important he did so.
Yeah, he was trying it, wasn't he? But the thing is, though, anything around that 18-yard box with Kane, you've got to be closing him down quickly.
Traore goes down. Nothing given by Paul Tierney. Podence putting pressure on Eric Dyer. It goes back to Lloris. Traore and Podence just switching back over for the time being. A little experiment of Traore through the middle. Going to an end. I would like to see him continue that, though.
Yeah, but I'm sure it'll switch as the game continues, Mikey. I think the lads up front, okay, get into a formation when we haven't got the ball, but I'm sure that once we have, I think he can actually go anywhere he wants. If he's effective and he's hurting Tottenham.
Sanchez. Pressed by Podence. Back to Dyer midway inside the Spurs half. Now finding Højbjerg. To Winks in the centre circle. Looking downfield. Plays a 1-2 with Kane. To Ben Davies. 10 yards over the halfway line. Wide left for Reguilon.
This is where you've got to be careful that you've got to stay with runners and don't switch off. Tottenham are having a little bit of possession now. You've got to be careful about those runs from deep and or across the back line.
Kane. Manages to hold off Traore, which is no mean feat. Reguilon. Backwards to Davis, approaching 38 minutes played at Molineux tonight. Wolves 0, Spurs 1. That Spurs goal just inside the first minute of the game. And it's been relatively even, you would suggest, since then.
Yeah, I don't think there's been much in it. So that early goals give Tottenham the opportunity to get that lead, but I don't think there's been much in it. Wolves have given as good as they got.
Saiss back to Patricio on the edge of his 6-yard box. A little short one to Cody. Son trying to close in. Cody will lift it towards Traore. He tried to chest it down. Did really well, actually, to find Semedo, who plays it infield to Neves. Low one infield. Moutinho will leave it for Saiss to carry it over halfway. Out to Neto. Marçal's already made a run down the line. Saiss back infield to Moutinho. Wide for Neto. To drive infield to Podence. Back to Neto. Back to Podence again. Podence infield towards Neto, who tried to take it on his head, and back to goal, trying to spin. Enough numbers back there. Harry Winks was the man who hooked it clear.
Just wouldn't drop for him, would it? It's a great little play again with the Podence, with Neto. But he just wouldn't settle for him. He just couldn't get it down on the floor.
Marçal turning away from Son. Done really well there. He's found Pedro Neto. Neto turning and driving forwards. Wide again to Marçal. 10 yards from the corner flag. Pulls his cross to the edge of the area. Neves nods it on to Traore. Traore's cross takes a little deflection. And it drops towards Podence, who strikes it. And it's saved low down to the left-hand side by Hugo Lloris again. Sweeter connection this time from Daniel Podence. But he still couldn't find a way past the Spurs keeper.
I'll tell you what, it's a good play from Fabio Silva there. Did really well to put pressure on Sanchez. Still didn't catch it as sweet as he wanted with the Podence. On his weaker foot as well.
Kind of hit it into the ground, didn't he?
Didn't really catch it as sweet as he wants. And he wasn't wide enough either. But like again, it's some good play.
Well, that's two very good chances he's had. Fabio Silva has ruffled the side netting with another. Wolves arguably have had more of the better chances since that opening goal. Only really Reguilon's shot against Patricio from Spurs going the other way.
Yeah, apart from conceding after a minute, I think the response has been good. I think they've definitely asked some big questions of Tottenham. And at the minute, they've been able to stop Wolves from getting up there or getting big opportunities.
Or Marçal with a loose one, though, to Kane in the centre circle. Blocked off by Neves this time. Neto can't quite keep it in. Spurs throw on halfway. That's just the element sometimes, isn't it? It's been a characteristic of the last couple of weeks, really. Wolves can look very good at one moment, and then just a little lapse in concentration, perhaps. Takes the sting out of things.
Yeah, and that's what you can't afford to do in this Premier League. So you can't afford to make one mistake because all of a sudden you get caught. And as you saw from the goal, didn't really clear it and come out to the edge of the box a little bit deep, if anything. And Dembele's struck it away.
Great energy and effort and work rate from Fabio Silva there. Højbjerg took a tumble and wins a free kick. Neves and Martinho didn't agree.
I don't think any of the players agreed, did they?
Højbjerg with a free kick. Just inside his own half, playing it backwards to Eric Dyer. Trying to play a big diagonal ball that Marçal will intercept. Early one towards Neto, midway inside his own half, back to Marçal. To Saiz, who under pressure from Kane, has to clear it first time. Fabio Silva with the flick on. He's played well so far, Fabio Silva.
I was just about to say that. I think he's got involved in a lot. He's got himself in the mix a little bit. And he's held things up. He's put pressure on them. He's done well up there.
Nice ball to Harry Kane, and Kane headed it out of play. Marçal, last couple of minutes of the first half here at Molineux on a bitterly cold evening. Podence, backwards to Saiz. Low across his own half for Ruben Neves, who dropped deep. Neves looking downfield and trying to play an early one through a gap. It spotted a run of Fabio Silva, but so had Eric Dyer, intercepted. Winks. That's the left-hand side to Ndombele. Infield to Harry Winks. Plays a 1-2 with Højbjerg. Low across to Davinson Sanchez. Out to the right-hand side to Son, over halfway. Goes down by Neto, goes infield to Winks. Neves was tracking. Son playing it down the line and out of play for a Wolves throw.
Good pressure, good pressure. There's nowhere to go, Son.
Coutinho, an awkward one backwards towards Cody. I don't think it was meant for him originally. Comes and gets the ball from him again. Into the centre circle he goes. He's looking over his shoulder all the time for where Harry Kane was. Found Marçal to Neto, backwards to Saiz. Spurs effectively doing what Wolves have done to so many teams down the last couple of years. That 5 stretched across the back and protecting bank of midfielders too. Semedo backwards to Neves, to Cody. There's not a lot of room for the likes of Podence and Neto to operate in at the minute, and they're having to come deeper to get the ball, and midfielders are tracking them all the way. Neves to Martinho in the centre circle. Low to his left-hand side to Saiz. Saiz wide for Marçal. Marçal trying to play it in behind Doherty for Neto, but former Wolves man was equal to it. Son for Winks. Saiz has read it again, but when he finds Winks, who tries to clear it early, Martinho's across, collects it on the chest and plays it back to Conor Cody. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, brilliant play, wasn't it? Tight area, just willing to take it on his chest. He knew what he was doing.
And then Martinho under pressure. Played his pass short to Marçal and Son pounced. Son with an early cross all the way through the Wolves penalty area. Semedo trying to clear it off Reguilón. It's going to drop towards Ndombele. 2 minutes being added on at the end of the first half. Here's Traore trying to set off, and Harry Winks brought him down, and Harry Winks gets a yellow card.
Well, that's what you call a good foul for Tottenham, because he was going away, wasn't he? He's running to the space in front of him.
Cody with the interception that set Traore away, and it's one of those where it feels like a yellow card's not quite enough, but it's not a red card. It's just, you look at that replay, and I'm not sure he was really going for the ball there.
Oh, no, he wasn't. No, he was just stopping him, wasn't he?
Marcel infield to Moutinho. Battling away with Ndombele, and Ndombele wins the free kick again. It certainly has been something that we've seen an awful lot in recent weeks in the Premier League. It's really crept in, this ability just to buy soft free kicks in certain positions. You always feel like that kind of challenge would never be a penalty. Why is it allowed to be given on the halfway line?
Well, I'm not even going to get involved in that, because at the end of the day, so look, I think that if you're looking at, so again, a penalty.
There's Podence. Couldn't find Fabio Silva. He'll get another chance to try and carry the ball forwards, though. He's got options in field as Podence continues on his run, pokes it on towards Neto. Across comes Eric Dyer out of the right-hand side of the penalty area, and the touchline launches it forwards. Cody in bravely there, had to stoop down.
Well done.
And he will get the free kick because Harry Kane was lifting his foot up.
Yeah, he's put his head down, but he wasn't backing out of it, was he, Conor Cody?
Again, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure it was worthy of a free kick.
No.
And that is the final action of the first half here. Well, it got off to a flyer as far as Spurs are concerned. Tanguy Ndombele striking home from the edge of the penalty area after just under a minute had been played. Sergio Reguilon had a good opportunity on the break too that was well saved by Rui Patricio, but arguably the better chances of the half falling Wolves' way. Twice Daniel Podence had it on his left foot inside the penalty area. Both times he could only find Hugo Lloris diving low to his left-hand side, and Fabio Silva rippled one into the side netting, arriving at the near post from a low cross in from the byline. Wolves have had some decent opportunities. They've played fairly well, and they might feel a bit aggrieved to be going in at the break a goal down.
Well, I think that the response, what they've done after going down at 1-0, after 1 minute, so look, it just shows you the character in this squad. So look, again, they're up for the fight. They've made sure they've asked questions of Tottenham. I think they've pushed Tottenham back. It just hasn't fell for them, hasn't it? It's just been that final ball in that top third for me. But again, so you can see that they're trying to fight their way back into it, and you'd expect them to have more chances with the way that they've gone about it in that first half.
Hopefully there is more to come in the second half. We'll get more from Tomo very shortly. We'll also hear from Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo on Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I'd never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Jodian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Wolverhampton Wanderers is a club with a bright future, but also a shining past.
See the history of the club we love, from humble beginnings to the present day, in the Wolves Museum, featuring unique artefacts from our illustrious past and interactive exhibits for kids big and small. The Wolves Museum, open Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. Book online at wolves.co.uk or visit the ticket office. Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
Half-time at Molineux then. Wolves trailing by a goal to nil. The stats, Wolves just shading the possession, 52-48. 4 shots in total to Spurs, 5, 2 on target for Wolves, 1 off and 1 blocked. Wolves just having 2 corners to Spurs 1, and 86% pass accuracy in that first half compared to Spurs 83. So all in all, Chris Iwelumo, apart from the first minute, that wasn't a bad first half of football from Wolves' point of view.
Not a bad half at all. I thought very patient with the build-up. I thought creative. Players were doing their job defensively, offensively. And I'm disappointed. I've got to ask teams, I've got to ask you the question. You know, and it's one of those things, you look at Rui Patricio, he's been fantastic. Okay, now, the ball gets defended. As a goalkeeper, it's at this side, so you know exactly where your post is. You know your distance to the post. As soon as the ball gets passed back to Ndombele, as a goalkeeper, you then have to be central. But when you're not sighted with the ball, it's a dangerous step that he's took to his right, because then he's not planted, so he can't react to that. And I can't get it in my head. You know, if you're not sighted, you can't take that step, because, you know, Saiss is blocking the view of the ball, and the ball's come on and hit it. It's not a great strike, and I think if he hasn't taken that stride, I think he's reacting, and it's a comfortable boom, and he's holding that.
Yeah, I think obviously he's unsighted. I think that's what's made him take the initial step. I think it's the big steps killed him really. He's and he can't recover. I think as a goalkeeper's point of view, as a goalkeeping coach, which I've been through these discussions in the past when you're unsighted of what you do, and some goalkeeper coach would just say stay. You've got enough time. You've got enough time to see. But even what I used to try and do in that position, because it's not nice not knowing, not seeing the ball. I can feel for him in a way, because you want to see if you're going to cross it. You need sight of the ball, of course. But sometimes you can instead of taking a step, you can peek around the corner. So at least you've got your balance to go, even though you might put a bit more weight on the right foot, you can make it up. But once you take a step, it kills you going back the other way.
As a goalkeeper,
do you think we were a little bit slow coming out though to close it down? So look, it's gone from Ben Davies as well. So there's been a pass to him to shoot.
You remember in Tomo, we're in a zonal defence there. Yeah. So when it's defenders, there's a lot of bodies there. But what I was trying to say, I think Keane's, as a goalkeeper, you're so meticulous that you actually know what player's coming onto it. So you know, do they usually take shots from there, or do they just try and clip it up? And Ndombele's usually one of them that he'll just clip it up. He'll just hang it in. And I think Rui Patricio's anticipated the cross, and that's why he's took that big stride to try and get central a goal. But like you just said there, just having that little peek. Yeah, he's still planted, and he can react to that shot, because it wasn't struck powerfully. It was an okay strike, but he should have reacted. I think
it was just a big step. I think that's the problem as well. I think even if it's just a smaller step to the side, and Rui plays like that, he's very bouncy on his toes. He's always moving side to side instead of just maybe a little step here, a little step to the other side, and you can kind of still have chance to have your feet planted. As soon as your feet's not planted as a keeper, you're in trouble. Especially if you're unsighted, that's the difficulties. And like I said, I understand his theory. He just wants to get a sight of the ball. He's thinking, you're far out, I just need sight so I can react to it. But I think it's the timing of the step as well, which is has killed him ultimately, because he's took a step at the time he struck it where he needed to take the step before he struck it.
And Carl, this is always the issue, isn't it, with goalkeepers, where we've spent a good couple of minutes talking about Rui Patricio with the one perhaps error that he's made, and yet down the other end we've had 3 at least very good chances to get a goal back ourselves.
I think we've played really well. I think I've been really impressed with us. I think we've moved the ball really well. I think we've looked threatening at times without having a real clear opportunity. I thought there were opportunities where we could have scored. Podence falls on his right foot. Fabio Silva had one that hit the side netting as well, which was also a great chance. We should be in the game. It should be 1-1, maybe even that 2-1 from the chances we've created. But we've looked good. I've been impressed with us. Really impressed with us. I've been impressed with the way we've moved the ball. The Traore, Looms, and Tom was saying about him coming inside more, and he's been doing that. He's been coming inside, getting closer to Fabio, running in behind, stretching the game. He's done everything that we've asked of him, or what Looms have asked him. I didn't ask for him. I was telling him to step wide. I'm not going to claim that one. He's done it. He's done it.
What I will say is Fabio Silva's movement as well. It's been excellent. But you know what? I've got so frustrated at Martial sometimes when because Fabio's he's got in between the centre backs, and it's just that little clip ball that's angled into the penalty spot, and I'm sitting thinking he's timed it perfectly. Martial looked for it, and I thought he's going to play it, and then he just chose the easy option. It's those balls that bring Fabio Silva into the game, and we've had a number of times, but his movement creates that space.
Well, this is what's really interesting sometimes about us actually being privileged to be here rather than watching it on telly, because I can tell you every time Fabio Silva plays, he makes some really clever runs. A lot of the time, he's done it in a lot of games, especially here, Tomo, when we're against Villa, where constantly he was looking to get on the last shoulder of the defender, and that ball didn't come. I don't know whether, Looms, that's an element of just, him not quite being, the players not quite being on the same wavelength, or whether
communication. There's no excuse. He's out there. He's playing. He's got a Premier League goal to his name. He needs to be saying to the likes of Martial, look, because I had to do it to my fullbacks. I said, I'm just going to play on the shoulder. I'll always pull away, and it's just you hang it up, and you bring players in. But I'm bringing other players in. I'm talking about him getting an actual attempt on goal. It's that there's that much space, and there's a lot of room for error, and it's just his movement has created that. And he's asking for it. He's making the gamble. And the little one as well, I think it was when Traore's found Podence, he should have slid Silva in. Yeah. Silva made a great run. He was onside. Traore could have played it with outside of his right, but he's played it into Podence, who got a shot in the end with his left. But Silva, he timed his run perfectly, and it's just the weight of passing, he's getting a shot away. Very much like the one, I think it was against Villa, when he's hit the post. Very much like that, where you just snap at it, and you know what? His movement is excellent, and it's just the players will get used to him being there, and he's just got to be more vocal, be aggressive. Hammer a player if you don't pass. You know what I mean? You have to communicate.
He doesn't. I don't know. I've never met the lad. He doesn't seem the type of lad who's going to start hammering players. But what I am excited about is how he's growing every game, and I'm watching him again today. I'm thinking, actually, I'm quite excited about your future now. Like I've been impressed with little snippets that I've seen of him, and you're sort of thinking that he's young, he's going to have games, and he's going to have games where he's just not in the game as well. But you're starting to look at him now and thinking, I understand what they've seen in him to pay that big price there again. I've been impressed. Like you say, his movement's unbelievable.
There was one lovely moment, Tomo, wasn't there, where right down in front of us on halfway, where he collected it on the chest from, I think, Eric Dyer or Davinson Sanchez, where it was able to turn, that led to him actually hitting the ball into the side netting. For an 18-year-old kid to be getting involved in that kind of level of build-up play, that's exactly what Looms was getting you and were calling for before.
Yeah, it was. So, because what he did, he just nudged Sanchez a little bit just to make the space to take it down on his chest, and then he's brought other people into play, and that was what we spoke about bringing people into play, and he's done that brilliantly in that first half. I've been impressed with his movement. So like the chance that he put into the side netting, it's because he's on the move. So the defender can't do anything about it because his movement's been good. And as you've spoke about there, Looms, about him just pulling on the shoulder, there's been various times that he's done it. But what he has done, he hasn't just sat still and got on with it. He's moved somewhere else. And that's been the thing about it. He hasn't just said, oh, their ball hasn't come. Oh, why hasn't it come? he's moved hopefully to get it from somewhere else, and that's what I like about it. That he's starting to think about the game rather than just thinking, oh, I've just got to stand here. I'm just going to try and work here.
Yeah.
I want to keep on the move, and that's the important part.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Spurs are coming back out, Looms. So very quickly, final word. I guess if you're in that dressing room, you're saying just keep going like this, boys. The chances will keep coming.
I think that three in behind Silva, massive. They're just rotating. They're all over the place, working very hard without the ball. But with it, I think like you say, they've got the freedom to go where they want. I think they're going to open some doors this half.
Okay. Hopefully, we're going to be this positive at the end of the game. Thank you very much, Carl Ikeme and Chris Iwelumo. More from them to come. More from Tomo too. Don't go anywhere. Second half is coming next.
Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Julian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Matchday live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So Spurs have been back out for the second half for quite a while, actually. And Wolves are only now just coming out from the tunnel. And Jose Mourinho has been having a long discussion with Andre Mariner, the 4th official. Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship from Wolves there, just keeping Spurs waiting as they have the final few words in the dressing room from Nuno, who makes his way out now in deep discussion with one of his first team coaching staff, Julio Figueroa. And we are nearly ready to get back underway for the second half. Talking of deep discussions, Tomo and Steve Bull.
I'll tell you what, he's looking after me. He's bought me a drink out as well.
Well, he's bought you a drink and nothing for me.
I don't know.
This is outrageous from you, Steve Bull. Absolutely outrageous.
I used to look after him, mate. I did. So that's what it was.
We're back underway for the second half here at Molineux. Hopefully. Oh, now Wolves' possible penalty here as Fabio Silva goes down and Paul Tierney has given a corner, and now Daniel Podence has pushed over Pierre-Emile Højbjerg right at the start of the second half. Semedo laying the ball on, and Fabio Silva.
I'll tell you what, he's kicked
Eric Dyer. There's a yellow card being shown to Daniel Podence. It's all gone off right at the start of the second half here.
Well, I think he's kicked the back of his heel there. Now, we've talked about slight contacts. We've had penalties given against us.
Paul Tierney is just coming across towards the side, I think. No, he's yeah, we're going to have a VAR check here. We are getting a VAR check.
I'll tell you what, it's the kick of the back of his heel.
Yeah, I think he kicks the back of Fabio Silva's right foot here.
I think he kicks the back of his heel.
There were no changes at the break, by the way. Patricio in goal for Wolves. Semedo, Cody, Saiz, Marçal, Neves and Matinho in midfield. Traore, Podence, Neto and Fabio Silva. And then Lloris in goal for Spurs. Doherty, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis and Reguilon. And they have decided no penalty.
I remember the Mahrez one here against Man City.
Yeah. Højbjerg and Winks and Ndombele in midfield, Son and Kane up top. Now,
wow.
Given some that have been given this season, I'm not sure how they can look at that and say that is not a penalty kick. The corner comes in from Moutinho, deflects behind for another corner. You think about the one that Liverpool got at Brighton the other week, or Brighton got against Liverpool. My apologies, the other way round.
Well, just the one against us. Yeah, against, say, Man City. Mahrez, so look, he's got caught slightly. Nothing really in it. There's contact there. He's kicked the back of his heel.
Well, Wolves had one with Traore down at Arsenal, which was a pretty similar to others that hadn't been given. Neto's ball into the near post, Saiss, his flicked header, comfortable take by Lloris. Certainly, you would feel very hard done by in a gold shirt, attacking the South Bank second half, right first couple of seconds of the half.
Well,
Fabio Silva got across in front of his man.
Said it time and time again, consistency. And that's the problem. It's somebody's decision and opinion. And again, so like unfortunately, it's gone against us.
And do you know what, Tom? I go back to what I said in the first half about some of those free kicks given on the halfway line.
Yeah.
And you say, well, that would never be given in the penalty area. And that's a classic example.
Yeah.
That anywhere else on the pitch, and the referee would give that as a soft free kick and then didn't give it as a penalty.
If it's a free kick, it's a free kick. It doesn't matter where it is on the pitch, and it shouldn't. And I know what you're saying, it shouldn't be. That's the problem, what you got.
Neto under pressure, back to Cody. Kane chasing him. Back to Patricio, edge of his 6-yard box. To his left-hand side for Saiss. That feeling of injustice that has reigned a number of times this year and over the last year and a half under VAR.
There you go. There you go. Not much contact in that one, but it's a free kick.
Traore getting the benefit from Matt Doherty's challenge this time.
Oh, well. We continue.
Well, you raise the question of consistency over different decisions made week in, week out, and how they go for some teams and don't go for others. Wolves would rightly ask the question of how is that any different to a number of examples that we've highlighted.
He's caught the back of his heel. He's got there before him.
Here's Traore cutting in from the left, finding Podence. Passed it straight to Højbjerg. Continues, though, to work hard to try and win it back and does so. Moutinho out to Neto on the right-hand side. Semedo has run past him on the overlap. Neto tried to go it alone. Semedo, I think he thought he was going to be offside and kind of stopped playing, really. Spurs trying to clear it forwards, but Neves
well done,
tidying up. Early pass towards Podence, trying to lift it down the right-hand side for Neto. Neto's got to use all his speed to get there and does, and pulls it back, and Dyer clears to the edge of the box. Winks heading away. Moutinho couldn't get it from Ndombele, and then Ndombele, who was half going down anyway, feels the slight contact from Semedo and gets a free kick.
And Dembele, I think he just turned into him, didn't he? And he's fortunate that the ball just broke away and he's just tripped over Moutinho's leg. But again, it's a bright start.
Winks infield to Davinson Sanchez. Out to the right-hand side to Doherty, just short of halfway. Infield to Højbjerg. Wide looking for Son. Marçal at his back. Marçal wrapped his left foot round and cleared it forwards. Podence controlled. Oh, lovely bit of trickery from Daniel Podence again. Now driving deeper into the Spurs half. Sweeping it out to the feet of Traore. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Traore trying to pull it back, and it was Harry Winks who was well positioned to block the ball. Moutinho winning it back from Harry Kane in an advanced position. Stuck to his job well there. Finds Traore on the right-hand side. Neves is making a run in field. Traore's got two players around him, and he's managed to squeeze it through to Moutinho. Now to Neves, who will try and lift across, and it was just over the top of Fabio Silva. Marçal has just about kept it in. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Assistant referee's on the near side, and he had a long look at that. Almost like a tennis official looking down the line.
But there's that ball that I spoke about. Somebody in the penalty area for Traore to pick out, and he did.
Podence. Infield to Moutinho. Nice first time pass to Neto. Left-hand side of the area. Low cross blocked by Davinson Sanchez. Wolves corner.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
6 minutes have gone in the second half, and Wolves have been very much on the front foot for most of it.
Yeah, they have. So look, it's been bright, hasn't it? The passing's been slick as well. just got to be careful about that counter attack from Tottenham with Son.
Martinho to take it, right-footed from the left-hand side. Neto's out there too. It's drawn Reguilon and Winks with them. Neves and Podence are on the edge of the area. There are 3 gold shirts inside the 6-yard box this time. And it was Harry Kane who headed it away at the near post. And Marcel battling away with Son, and Tottenham getting the free kick.
But that's what you got to be. You got to be tight to him. You can't allow him to have a run at you. I know he's ended up fouling Marcel there, but again, it's something that they've got to do. Got to try and mark him because he's the big problem.
This is one of those scenarios where you really wish there was a crowd in at 30,000 vocal vociferous support. It might have a slight impact on some of the decisions the referee's been giving. There's Winks.
There you go.
Under pressure from Semedo.
Well
Wolves throw. Front of the Nuno's technical area. It's it back from Martinho. Is it off Winks? Another Wolves throw, creeping forwards down the right. Martinho with a little flick behind him, looking for the run of Fabio Silva, away by Davis. And Ndombele and Martinho jumped into each other. Cody out muscling Kane. Wolves throw again. Cody wants to get on with it quickly, throwing back into his own half to Saiz. The left-hand side to Marcel. Son closing down. Marcel flicking it forwards. Good ball to pick out Podence. Nice little back heel to Neto. Wide again for Daniel Podence. He will try and cut back infield on his right foot. Now twisting back again against Matt Doherty. Now a little back heel for Neto. Can set himself. Tried a low one into the near post. Away by Davinson Sanchez. Neves with a header forwards. Away by Sanchez again. And then Kane takes a tumble and wins a free kick from Saiz. And another example there of being able to buy a free kick and get your team out of trouble.
Well, he was on his way down before the ball's even coming to him. Kane. Just knocks the momentum out of the game, though, doesn't it? That's what they want to do. Because you can see Wolves surging forward.
I just wish sometimes referees would... This is where the argument goes about referees having played the game at a higher level, knowing exactly what the players are trying to do in certain scenarios.
But the problem what you've got is that all the referees say through Europe now, any kind of contact, then it's all changed.
Trying to play it on early here for Reguilon. Reguilon, left-hand side of the Wolves penalty area, low one pulled back, and Neves is well positioned to clear only as far as Højbjerg, though. Kane blocked off again by Neves. Ball rebounds high in the air. Traore having to hold off a couple of challenges and wins a free kick. And again, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think that's a free kick there either.
I don't think there's anything in there.
I mean, we always say we're biased, but we're like to think we're fairly fair at times. And
fairly biased.
Well, I'm less biased than you are at times. But
yeah, I didn't see anything in that one. Not for me.
There's Marcel to Neves. Podence on the turn on halfway. Trying to get away from Højbjerg, who had a little snap at him.
It's going to give... Oh, no.
Semedo's done well to keep the ball in on the right-hand touchline. Traore, I think it would have been pulled back for the foul had Semedo not kept it in. Traore to Semedo, to Martinho. Had the option to play it first time wide, and Martinho's played a lovely ball to Semedo, who's absolutely smashed across all the way through the penalty area. So hard that Marcel can't even keep it in on the left-hand touchline.
Yeah, you could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to just hit it across the box, wasn't it, Semedo? Just like, is it too clean, if anything? But again, they've just got to keep going. Just got to make sure they don't give anything away, but just keep plugging at it. Keep playing, keep passing the ball. It's been sharp.
Just over 10 minutes played in the second half. Still Wolves 0, Spurs 1. Wolves taking a fair path that's fairly similar to the match here last year, where Spurs scored not quite as early, but after 8 minutes, Lucas Moura's goal, Wolves came back strongly.
That was the header, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winks for Højbjerg. Back to Dyer, back to Winks again, middle of their own half, to Højbjerg, just short of the centre circle for Son. Backwards to Sanchez. Doherty, infield to Højbjerg. Neves was closing in. Højbjerg just got away from him. Doherty, infield to Son. Neves challenging again, and again a free kick given against the Wolves man. Well, Nuno had some choice words about the official after the last game.
Yeah, he's happy with him, wasn't he?
I don't think he'll be saying similar this time round, but he may well wish he could.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a similar complaint about not allowing the game to really flow.
Well, it stopped starting a minute, and it's through Tottenham just getting fouls, little niggly fouls.
Cody taking a massive risk, and then Ndombele looked like he'd stolen the ball from him. And this time it will be a Spurs free kick and a yellow card coming for Conor Cody.
Yeah, you just got to put your foot through it there, ain't you? Just got to send it. Just try to be clever. And Dembele just read it, didn't he?
And Ndombele.
And Ndombele, then. Pronunciation king over there.
They used to have a player called Dembele.
I know they did. Centre midfield player.
Moussa Dembele. Tongi and Ndombele this time. His goal is the difference, and he's won the free kick. There, I think Harry Kane has pulled the rank.
Yeah, he's pulling himself up and pulling his socks up, getting ready.
Wolves' wall is just outside the penalty area. It's just the left of centre as you look towards the Stancullis North Bank. It's Eric Dyer who's over the ball, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Placed it. Kane is just behind the wall. Dyer getting himself set to have a go for goal from distance. Maltini blows his whistle. Eric Dyer approaching the ball, hits it through and hits it wide of the right-hand post.
Yeah. He had it covered anyway, didn't he, Patricio?
We have played 58 and a half minutes here at Molineux. There's a fair bit of rain steadily coming down. It's visible through the floodlights. There's Semedo. Neves, Podence. Again, Wolves taking a risk deep in their own half. Cody tidying up this time.
Just trying to play, aren't they?
Oh, lovely ball from Saiz to find Neto, though. That's why they're taking the risk, because when it comes off, they're able to break forwards at speed. And Neto has made a superb run here. Into the penalty area he goes. Low one back in towards Fabio Silva, trying to wrestle his way through. And Hugo Lloris dived down onto the ball just before Fabio Silva could stretch out his right foot and poke it goalwards. Brave goalkeeping from Lloris. Denies Fabio Silva what would have been a goal.
Yeah, he did brilliant, didn't he,
Two
Neto?
games.
He's just got to hit it, though, isn't he? It's just rebounded lovely to him. He just tried to have a touch. Just hit it. Just
brilliant run by Pedro Neto.
Brilliant. There, it
just bounces off his right foot.
Yeah, it just
And
bounced.
he didn't expect it.
No, that's the problem, wasn't it? That was the problem.
Nearly an hour played. And that's, well, there's been a sign sometimes of the way things have gone. It's not quite on their way. And Stephen Bergwijn is waiting to come on. He won't come on just yet, but the referee needs something adjusting in his communications pack, I think.
Yeah. Well, he had a problem with his watch earlier, so he's things aren't gone good for him tonight.
Might got a new watch on, and that's part of it. One of the goal decision system, maybe. We're fine getting some final instructions from Jose Mourinho down in front of us. Maybe Spurs might be thinking about changing their formation or just trying to tweak the attacking areas. Kick comes forward. Saiz wins it in the air ahead of Kane. Dyer goes over the top of Fabio Silva. Neves blocks the intended clearance. Reguilon forwards. Marçal back into the Spurs half. Doherty chesting down for Højbjerg, who played it straight to Marçal. Infield to Neves. Early one trying to turn the Spurs defensive line, and Sanchez hooking clear under pressure from Podence.
I'll say it again. There's nothing wrong with just putting that ball over there and turning the defence. You could see there when Neves is just trying to put that ball into the space. Is it Dyer that's gone down?
Yeah, Eric Dyer's got a problem now. They may well need a bit of treatment. 61.5 minutes played at Molineux tonight. Wolves trailing by a goal to nil. And they find a way back into it. Dyer is up on his feet before the physios have reached him.
He's limping.
Pam says, Auntie P here on the Shifnal sofa with the Christmas chocks and a damp cat. Fingers crossed for Fabio scoring from open play and some more link-up action from Neto and the mighty Pod. There's Semedo as we're back underway. Traore on the right-hand side for Wolves to Semedo. Space to try and drive infield, and Ndombele was tracking him. Semedo finding Moutinho. Lovely first-time pass to Marçal. Stands his cross up to the far post. Ben Davies headed it when he maybe didn't need to. And Reguilon put his foot through it and cleared it for a throw.
Well, I thought the keeper was just going to give him a shout there, just to chest it down to him, Lloris. But no, he dealt with this himself, Davies.
Here comes the Spurs change. It's Reguilon who's coming off. Stephen Bergwijn will come on. So a bit more of an attacking change from Spurs.
Is that a change of formation for him, is it, do you think?
Not at the minute. There's Moutinho, passed it straight to Ndombele. Kane trying to release Son. To Doherty. To Højbjerg, gets it back to Doherty. Sanchez, good pressure being put on by Wolves, forcing them all the way back to Lloris. Just to launch it forward, Saiz intercepts. Moutinho, loose by Moutinho. A little bit slow, he needed a shout and he ends up fouling. Some instruction from Bergwijn to Harry Winks there. I say, trying to see whether Spurs have gone to a back four or whether they're going to stay in this shape. Looks like they may be staying in it, but just with Bergwijn more advanced.
Bergwijn's definitely gone up against Semedo, hasn't he? A little bit further up. Ben Davies dropping into this left back position.
Infield to Dyer, and the pressure from Podence to Højbjerg. Neves nearly got a foot in. You can hear Steve Bull behind us screaming for it.
Good pressure.
Fabio Silva wants to get things moving. Marçal has the throw.
Just got to be careful. We just don't fade out. So we've got to keep pushing, got to keep the tempo going. Because I think that's the thing that's got us, got Tottenham struggling a little bit, is the tempo, the moving of the ball.
Neto having to play it backwards to Saiz in his own half. Now to Connor Cody. 64.5 minutes played. Cody with a big, adventurous diagonal that Traore did well to jump really high to keep in play. Semedo then wins a rather soft free kick from Stephen Bergwijn.
Well, he's got hold of him, hasn't he? He's just basically emphasised it spinning round on it.
I say again, I will be consistent on this. I'm not so sure that was a foul either.
No.
Moutinho, early one towards Podence. Out came Lloris. That's just to kick the ball away. Traore nods it down to Moutinho. Now to Semedo again. Leaves it for Moutinho to take over. To Neto on the right-hand touchline. Midway inside the Spurs half. Back to Moutinho. And to go into his own half to Cody. Now for Ruben Neves dropping deep. Out to Marçal. Back to Neves once more.
Tottenham is trying to put pressure on the ball now, aren't they? Trying to stop Wolves from playing.
Oh, lovely ball by Cody to the feet of Podence, who turns and drives deep into the Spurs half, up towards the edge of the area. Now to Pedro Neto, trying to cut back infield on his left foot, teeing it up for Neves to curl it over the top of the crossbar. It took a deflection, and it will be a Wolves corner.
As you said, he's due a goal, isn't he, Neves? Oh, did brilliant there, Podence. Neto just picking that pass out. Oh, he's got it the target though, isn't he?
I think it was just off Matt Doherty, knowing exactly what Ruben Neves is capable of, his former teammate. Neto with the corner, left-footed from that from the right-hand side. Moutinho's moving away from him. And it's played to João Moutinho, back to Pedro Neto, who will stand his cross to the far post. One in the air by Dyer. and cleared away to the halfway line. Marçal has just hit it high into the air, and Son's got his body in front of him. Marçal actually shoved him and then headed it back into the Spurs half. Doherty will flick by Ndombele, who's taken off the ball. Son, the Spurs continue on. Kane getting the better of Saiz for a moment, just to the right of the penalty area. Pulling it back to Ndombele. Now Doherty. Wide again down that right-hand touchline. Infield to Højbjerg. On to Kane. Son takes over, pulls it back towards Harry Kane. He tried to poke it backwards to Bergwijn, but Neto read the danger.
Oh, did brilliant. Great positioning from him, helping his defence out.
There's Semedo just running down the right-hand side. Nobody really ahead of him.
Oh, well done. Well
Has to
played.
check back and play it to Pedro Neto.
I'm just saying, you talk about this team and the way that they play, and it just shows you the effort that they put in. Neto back in his line there, helping the defence out.
There's Neves, low across the centre circle for Connor Cody. Here's Neto, up towards the edge of the area. Pedro Neto to strike it, took a big deflection and goes wide for another Wolves corner.
He's booking Marcel, I think.
Yeah, I think for the original foul and that build-up to the last Spurs attack.
Oh, I think he's wrong foot to the keeper, as I said about that goal from Tottenham, where it's gone through a lot of players, or the keepers took a stride to his left. I think Lloris did exactly the same there on the Neto shot.
68 minutes played. Martinho with the corner, right-footed from the right-hand side. He will look to lift it high to the far post, and it goes all the way through again. It was away by Højbjerg. Traore was the closest man to it. And Ndombele getting the better of Neves. Saiz coming across, and he couldn't stop him. This is Semedo, though, with a really important clearance, and then a good little bit of footwork. Playing a 1-2 with Neto. And then goes flying into a challenge, and he caught the Spurs man, and there's going to be a yellow card coming.
I don't know if that's... Oh, he's giving Tottenham. I thought it was a foul on Wolves.
Yeah,
I thought the first one.
Wolves bench have just reacted as if they had exactly the same thought as you.
Well, I thought it was a foul on Wolves. I think he's made a mistake there. I think there's an infringement from Tottenham player there on the Wolves player.
Connor Cody, I think, is making that point. Fourth Wolves man to go into the referee's notebook as Sissoko gets ready to come on.
Yeah, Harry Kane's grabbed him. Harry Kane's put his hand on him.
Here's Tanguy Ndombele, who goes off. That's his final action. Spurs maybe trying to protect what they have, knowing that Wolves have come strong, but still haven't found a way through. No sign of any movement from the Wolves bench just yet. There aren't exactly a plethora of experienced options to pick from. There's Bergwijn on the left-hand side, up against Semedo. Crossing with the right foot, headed away by Saiz. Sissoko, wide for Doherty. Played infield to Son, whose ball is intercepted by Saiz. Coutinho to Neves for Marçal. Marçal slipping, and he's hurt. And Son continues on. Højbjerg, wide for Son again. Marçal is completely out of the game. The Spurs work it down the Wolves' left, and thankfully, the pass from Sissoko went straight to a Wolves man, and they kick it out of play so Marçal can get some treatment.
I don't know what he did there. I know he's a long way off from us, but I think he's just slipped there myself. I don't think there's any contact at all. Yeah.
Or he twists his knee there. His left leg, and immediately holds his groin.
Yeah, he just twisted, didn't he? He just fell to the ground. And they're just showing you where he's got the yellow card from.
Blocked off Tanguy Ndombele. And now needing a bit of treatment. And he's been unfortunate with injuries. Marçal, obviously in the team early in the season, and then went off very early in his first home game, actually, and took Took him a while to really nail down his place, and taken out last week at Burnley for Aït-Nouri to come in. Back in tonight. He's actually done pretty well.
Yeah.
The longer this treatment goes on, the more likely you feel it is that he will be replaced. And I think the radio message might be coming.
He's got up. He might have just tweaked it a little bit. He seems to be all right, I think.
The message coming. You see Rui Fust, who's one of the medical staff now, heading out just to have a quick word with Nuno on the radios to the physio Ollie Leaper over on the far side. Doc Matt Perry, I think, was out there as well. We're back underway, and Marçal is back on. Cody to Moutinho. Nice first time pass to Podence. Bergwijn gets back in front of him, though. Wins possession for Spurs. Here's Winks. Bergwijn to Kane on the inside left, midway inside the Wolves half. Moutinho snapping away. Højbjerg takes it forwards. Saiss tries to get a foot in there on Son.
Good tackle. Good tackle, Saiss.
Enough Wolves players swarmed around, and Moutinho caught late. Wolves free kick.
Yeah. You can see what he's trying to do, Moutinho. Just put the ball into the space for Traore to run onto. Ben Davies is not going to be able to stay with him.
Well, Aït-Nouri was stripped, and he's going to come on. He was putting a bib on to go out and warm up again. I think they've called him and said, no, you're going to go on now.
Well, they must have had a message from the physio or the doc.
There is Marçal. Might have been a change they were thinking of anyway. A bit more attacking. He could go on further forwards if needed. Cody up to Fabio Silva. First time wide for Traore. Infield to Fabio Silva. That was a good ball. Fabio Silva blocked off by Harry Winks, though. Bergwijn trying to carry it into the Wolves half. Wide to the left-hand side to Kane. Kane looking to close in on the Wolves penalty area. Fires his cross in, and an excellent block at the near post by Saiss. Fabio Silva was back there helping out. Cody clears. Because Fabio Silva was back, it means Dyer can nod it down to Sissoko.
Yeah, just got a little bit deep at the minute, I think. Got a little bit of possession at the Tottenham.
Winks trying to stretch the play for Doherty, headed in field. Neves got there ahead of Son.
No.
Yes, he did. There's Traore.
I was talking about something else, mate.
Yeah, you were answering the Spurs protests at a high boot.
Yeah.
There's Neto. Semedo. Semedo then felt a challenge of Højbjerg, shall we say. And it is Marçal who comes off. Ryan Aït-Nouri comes on. Has got a Premier League goal here at Molineux on his debut. At the time, he was the Wolves' youngest Premier League goal scorer, now second youngest. First teenager to score for Wolves in the Premier League. There's Pedro Neto. Now Adama Traore. Trying to knock it past Ben Davies, and Davies goes down, and the assistant referee was flagging.
I don't think that's a foul. I think he's on his hands and knees before Traore's even come near him. Just watching it again. No. As soon as that first little touch comes near him, he's on his way down.
We have quarter of an hour to play. Wolves 0, Spurs 1. Headed by Moutinho. Dyer forwards to the halfway line. Kane just putting it deep in the Wolves half. Cody the man to chase back. Saiss to try and bring it forwards in towards the feet of Podence. Podence couldn't control it. Wolves are just not seeing enough of the ball in more attacking areas at the minute.
No, I think that momentum's gone a little bit in the play, hasn't it? I don't know if it's the stop-start with the free kicks that Tottenham have had. But to say, look, you can see that the momentum's gone a little bit with it.
Spurs throw on the right-hand side, midway inside the Wolves half. So they don't really have anything on the bench to potentially change anything. Fabio Silva winning a free kick midway inside the Spurs half. There's Connor Cody for Semedo.
I think we've got to get Traore in the game a little bit more. He's been isolated out here. Haven't really given the ball early enough for me.
Semedo to Pedence, back to Semedo, to Moutinho, back to Cody. So there's a slight tweak of formation from Spurs to more of a back four has certainly had an impact in stifling Wolves' play. Just pack that midfield area a little bit more.
Yeah, they have.
There's Cody on the halfway line. Across the centre circle for Saiz. Low out to Ait Nouri. Closed down by two Spurs players. Goes backwards to Saiz. This time he finds Cody. Back to Saiz. Trying to lift it wide for Ait Nouri. Pedence is there in support if he needs him. Neto. So it comes to Neves.
There you go. Oh.
And then Neves with a rash pass that, again, Traore manages to salvage. Semedo to Pedence. Now Traore. Infield to Neves once more. He's managed to work it through to Daniel Pedence. Pedence right inside the penalty area. Low one blocked off by Winks.
2 or 3 times tried that when they've been blocked off, that little pullback. It's on this right-hand side.
But there's the problem, though. When Pedence had it, there was at least 7, if not 8, outfield Spurs players in the penalty area.
And we had 2.
Protecting what they have.
No.
Wolves going to have to try something different. Neves trying to pick out Traore, headed away by Davis, and Bergwijn has got the better of Semedo. Across comes Neves, important interception that. And here comes Semedo, wide for Traore. He's managed just to hold off Ben Davis, and now trying to get Semedo away, who just hesitated and will wait for support to come from Traore. Traore has got 2 defenders with him for company, pulls back to Semedo, low cross in, miskicked it really. Spurs clear.
Oh, get up.
Cody's challenge on Kane.
Oh, get up.
Tierney for the first time tonight shakes his head and says play on.
He's holding his ankle. There was no touch on him there at all.
Neto cutting in field. He wants a free kick, and all of a sudden, referee's not giving anything as Neves strikes from distance. Not a bad effort at all. No. And saved low down to the left-hand side by Hugo Lloris, who was scrambling for just a moment.
Yeah, it's a better strike from him. So the referee let 2 incidents there go. The Kane one. And the Neto, I thought the Neto one probably was a foul. Kane, you could see, was just trying to get that free kick.
Saiz forwards, away by Sanchez. Moutinho finding Pedence, looking to drive deep into the Spurs half. Pedence coming back on his right foot, trying to lift it towards Traore, away by Ben Davis. Not sure that was the right option there from Daniel Pedence. There's Saiz wide to the right-hand side to Semedo. Infield towards Traore, who surely was caught by Ben Davis, and they will get the free kick. And we are going to see Owen Otazawi come on very shortly. Saiz and Cody have gone forwards from the back. Moutinho stood over the ball. Eric Lamela is stripped and ready to come on for Spurs as well as we come into the final 10 minutes of the game. Wolves searching for that equaliser since the first minute. Moutinho's delivery, it takes a deflection, it comes all the way through. Saiz will chase it, and he's going to let it go behind for a corner.
Yeah, the deflection made it a better ball, didn't it? Because it's quite low, but the deflection carries it on a little bit more.
Time is against Wolves at the minute. Moutinho's corner, right-footed from the left-hand side. 3 players in the 6-yard box, and Saiz just outside it, now joining them. All trying to make a nuisance of themselves. Can Moutinho pick one of them out? In comes the right-footed delivery. Headed away by Kane, free header inside the 6-yard box. Here's Pedence. Now trying to switch the play towards Traore. Traore brings it down, right-hand side of the penalty area. Low cross blocked off. Neto turning back out towards the right. Now infield to Neves. Out wide to the touchline to Traore. Ben Davies coming to close him down. Traore waiting, pulling back to Neves. First time cross will hang high to the far post. Moutinho nodding it down. Fabio Silva collecting. Picking out Aït-Nouri, lifting his cross in, and Dyer had a right old grip of Saiss, but it goes all the way through to Hugo Lloris.
Yeah, so again, huffing and puffing a little bit, aren't we? So not really threatening the Tottenham goal. I'd just like to see Traore. He keeps stopping the ball and giving people a chance to get around him. Get on the move with it a little bit more.
Semedo challenging Bergwijn. Semedo actually headed the ball into the back of Steven Bergwijn. They'll stop the play for the head injury. And it'll give them an opportunity to finally make these substitutions. First of all, it's Son who's coming off for Spurs. They're replaced by Eric Lamela. And it's João Moutinho coming off for Owen Otasowie. Well, Owen Otasowie is inexperienced, but he's big, strong, athletic, and willing to get himself in the penalty area. Not being particularly known for goal scoring in the youth levels, though. In both of his games here, he's come pretty close to getting a goal in the first team. I think he hit the crossbar against Besiktas with a header. And then, of course, he was low one in at the near post against Villa, I think it was. Ball's going to get a free kick, midway inside their own half, out on the left-hand touchline. 6.5 minutes left to play, plus time to be added on.
Well, I think it's the stage now that we've got to start to take a little bit more of a gamble and push up there a little bit more. Might as well lose the game 2-0 rather than just the one.
Saiss is diagonal. Davis' header in field. Winks down for Højbjerg. Up towards halfway. Kane was expecting a stronger challenge from Cody than he got, and it will be a Wolves throw. Semedo throwing it backwards to Cody, deep inside his own half. Infield to Romain Saiss. Cody looking downfield, playing it back into Saiss. He was closed down by Harry Kane. Now Ruben Neves taking over. Window between the left-hand touchline and the centre circle. Backwards to Saiss. Up towards halfway he comes. Lays it low across the centre circle for Cody. That's the feet of Semedo. Looking downfield, not really a way through. Back to Cody. He'll try and knock it early up towards Traore. Ben Davies' header out of play. Wolves throw. So many bodies back behind the ball for Spurs.
Yeah, we're going to have to try and get a little bit more movement in front of the ball player, I think. At the minute, so Tottenham are happy just sitting in, making it difficult.
Second half possession is 60-40 in Wolves' favour. Semedo plays it wide for Traore. Level with the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side, trying to run past Davis. Davis got the block on the cross. Wolves' corner, though. It is their 7th of the second half alone. Only had 2 in the first half.
Yeah, looks like we've had a lot of possession, but like I said, not really hurt Tottenham, have we? I think we're just missing on that top third again.
Neto with the corner, left-footed from the right-hand side, in towards the near post and flicked on and in! And there's the equaliser from Romain Saiss. Right place, right time, perfect little death finish. And Wolves get the equaliser that their second half players so deserved. His first goal since the opening day of the season. Wolves won, Spurs won.
There you go, the commentator's curse, what you could say, wasn't it? Talking about the quality in, but it's a great ball. Good movement from Saiss there, getting across him. Great header. Keeper's no chance. But it's about the quality of the ball in and the movement.
You got a run on Harry Kane.
Yeah.
A run on Ben Davis. Yeah. 2 of them at the near post. Saiss just wanted it more.
Well,
and it meant so much to him.
Well, Kane's struggling there, isn't he? Because he's standing in that position already. But it's the movement that beats him. But great little ball and pace on the ball as well from Neto. Deserve it.
Bolly's calling for more.
He would, wouldn't he?
Can they go on and complete the turnaround? Here's Semedo.
Need some help here.
Early in towards Adama Traore, who's allowed to turn. Flicks on to Fabio Silva, who strikes it early from the right-hand side of the penalty area. Couldn't get it in at the near post.
Got no problem with that. Got no problem with that.
Wolves looking threatening. And it's a very interesting game now as Neves intercepts a ball and sends it early for Podence to chase. It's going to go behind for a goal kick. If you're Spurs, do you stick or twist?
I think they'll be happy with the point for me because they've got no urgency to actually take it, Lloris.
Lloris inside the 6-yard box. Looking to play it early up towards Bergwijn. Semedo at his back. Bergwijn being forced backwards. Gives it to Ben Davies. Loose one infield, picked on by Podence. Daniel Podence now trying to run it forwards. Højbjerg's challenge was a fair one.
Yeah, he just had to be sharper on it, didn't he, Podence? Wanted a little bit too much time.
Neves tried to intercept. Here comes Harry Kane. On for Sissoko. Doherty has gone racing past him. Sissoko infield to Winks. Trying to play it early in behind Saiz for the run of Harry Kane, who takes a tumble in the box. And
he's
it's
done
going
that
to
all
give
night.
us a goal kick.
Well, to be fair, Kane's done that all night, hasn't he? He took a tumble. And a fell. Oh. 9.5 on the scale, mate. Oh.
Otasawi carrying it forwards. Last 90 seconds of the 90. Neto just about got it back to Owen Otasawi. Lifts it to the right-hand side to Podence. Podence drops a shoulder, plays it infield to Traore, continues on his run. Traore holding off 2 challenges. And he's drawn Eric Dyer wide with him. As Traore goes to the byline, whips his cross backwards. It's headed away by Doherty. Lamela being challenged by Aït-Nouri. Otasawi's there to win it back. Semedo. Semedo losing possession to Højbjerg. And Spurs now looking to threaten and hit on the counter. Højbjerg on again. Cody sliding in, does just enough to halt the advance. Kane backwards to Winks. On to Lamela, 25 yards from goal. Aït-Nouri trying to hold him off. Goes wide to Doherty. Last 40 seconds of the 90. Winks looking to cross from deep. That'll go straight into the arms of Rui Patricio. Wolves have committed so many men forwards there. Semedo nearly cost his team. Bully's going to blow a gasket behind you in a minute.
Oh, dear.
We should make it an option, a subscription option on the red button to just listen to Bully. Cody forwards, 2 straight. It's going to go all the way through to Lloris. 90 minutes is up. 6 minutes is being added on. Six minutes. Both sides could still win this. There comes Neto. Wolves got a late winner, having turned things around against Chelsea, of course.
Yeah. Well, there's enough time with that extra at the end of it, isn't that? 6 minutes.
Here comes Vitinha. He will replace Daniel Podence.
He's gone off the slate.
Throw in to Neto. Aït-Nouri skipping away from one challenge. Now to Vitinha. Neto, Vitinha again. Trying to run it out on the left-hand side, and he miscontrols, and it'll be a Spurs throw. Comes in field to Højbjerg. Lifted forwards to Kane. Saiz was in strongly. Spurs free kick. 10 yards short of the halfway line. Sanchez for Dyer. We've played close to 90 seconds of the 6 minutes being added on. Wolves 1, Spurs 1. Doherty. Neto challenging, forcing him backwards. Sanchez on halfway to Dyer. A couple of yards short of the centre circle. Wants to Højbjerg. He turns Otasowie. Otasowie staying with him though. Bergwijn on the left-hand side for Spurs. Cutting infield to Kane. Helped wide left for Højbjerg. Up against Otasowie, who stretches in that long right leg and got the ball.
Well done.
And plays it off Kane for a Wolves throw.
He's well there. Well done. You'll fear the worst when you see somebody sliding in, don't you, for a tackle?
So he spent plenty of time in the under-23s playing at the back. So he should know how to time a tackle. Played nearly 2.5 minutes now of the 6 being added on. Semedo being sent back. His referee's come to have a word with Connor Cody. Semedo being sent back 2 further steps. Semedo's throw. Højbjerg, challenged by Fabio Silva. Fabio Silva just hoiking it towards halfway. Neto putting pressure on Doherty. Doherty just about held him off and made it back to Sanchez, all the way back to Lloris. Halfway through the added on time. Is there to be yet more late drama in a match at Molineux? Lamela under pressure from Aït-Nouri, heading back towards the halfway line. Vitinha trying to win it. Winks just about holds him off. Finds Lamela, blocked off by Neves. Ball rebounds to Sanchez on halfway. To Eric Dyer, just short of the base of the centre circle. To his left-hand side to Davis. Davis backwards to Dyer again. Dyer carrying the ball to the right of the centre circle. Now looking to hit it early. Towards the run of Bergwijn, who's just got ahead of Semedo. A couple of yards from the left-hand corner flag for Spurs. Bergwijn looking to cut back infield to Kane. Otasowie at his back, ball infield to Sissoko for Sanchez. Middle of the half, just to the right of centre. Closed down by Neves for Lamela. Lamela away from one. Semedo in with a strong challenge. Højbjerg to Doherty on the right-hand side. Cross whipped in, headed away by Saiz. Sissoko let it bounce and Fabio Silva has nipped in and won it back. Now trying to set Neto away, and Neto can use his speed and pace to drive on towards the penalty area again. Whips his cross in, and Lloris got there. Fingertips to it as Traoré was arriving. 90 seconds remain. Cody winning a free kick this time.
I tell you what, it's great to see when Neto just opens his legs up, doesn't he? He just leaves them in his wake, unfortunately for them.
At the end of another game of which he's got through an awful lot of kilometres,
yeah,
to still be able to have that turn of pace. Cody, lovely ball to pick out Traoré. Traoré just about held off Højbjerg. Otasowie left Harry Kane on the floor. Otasowie to Saiz, across the centre circle. Forwards to Neves. Aït-Nouri set off wide. Neves, though, will lift it in towards Fabio Silva, who heads it goalwards. Headed it down into the ground with the goal at his mercy. And cleared downfield by Lloris. Saiz with an important header. It's going to drop to Harry Kane. It's not over yet as Kane tries to switch the play for Doherty. Last 40 seconds of the time being added on. Sissoko for Winks, middle of the Wolves half, crossing deep. Semedo needed a shout there. He ended up heading it behind for a Spurs corner when he didn't need to.
Oh, he could have just let that go.
Seeing this Fabio Silva chance again, it just drops over Eric Dyer's head at the last minute, and I think he takes his eyes off it.
Any decent contact, he's scoring.
Spurs corner, Lamela with it, left-footed from the left-hand side. Last kick of the game. Lamela whipping it into the 6-yard box, up when the heads, it loops high. Patricio has come and claimed it. Paul Tierney puts his whistle to his lips, and it finishes Wolves 1, Spurs 1, an entertaining game. Spurs taking the lead after less than 60 seconds. Tongue and Dombele firing home when Rui Patricio was wrong-footed. Wolves had some good chances in this one, and they kept going, slogging away in the second half, trying to get their opportunity. And eventually it came from a set piece. Pedro Neto's whipped in corner, Romain Saiss at the near post, heading in to the far corner to give Wolves a deserved share of the points. It finished Wolves 1, Tottenham 1.
Yeah, they deserved it. They kept going, didn't they? They kept battling. They kept pushing Tottenham back. And again, it's come from a bit of quality from the corner. Saiss on the move, just gets in front of all, I think it was Dyer. So Davies, sorry, and gets the ball into the net. But, oh, what an absolute opportunity for Fabio Silva there towards the end, wasn't it? Just needed a decent header, and he would have took all 3 points. But, again, so good team, Tottenham. Given the early goal, they did well to fight back.
There's a good performance from Wolves. They showed some reaction to the defeat at Burnley last time out. It would have been really cruel had they not been able to find an equaliser here. They may well feel like they should have got even more from the game in the end. We'll take a very short break, and then we'll get more thoughts from Andy Thompson and from Chris Iwelumo and Carl Ikeme on Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
The Old Goal Club has a new series, My Golden Game. Speaking to former and current players, coaches, managers and fans of the matches that meant the most to them.
It's a club who I have in my heart, and I always keep following it.
I'd been back to Molineux on a few occasions, and I'd never got a good reception, and that hurt me a little bit. Not that I thought I deserved better, but maybe because of those two games against West Brom, where I scored 4 goals in 2 appearances.
Check out the series so far, featuring the likes of Julian Lescott, Kevin Doyle, Neil Emblem and Dennis Irwin.
I was absolutely delighted when they came in from England, and even more so when, after having a tough first 4 or 5 months, that we were on a bit of a roll and ended up playing in this fantastic game.
Old Goal Club, My Golden Game, available now.
Wolverhampton Wanderers is a club with a bright future, but also a shining past. See the history of the club we love from humble beginnings to the present day in the Wolves Museum, featuring unique artefacts from our illustrious past and interactive exhibits for kids big and small. The Wolves Museum, open Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. Book online at wolves.co.uk or visit the ticket office.
Wolves TV, the home of live uninterrupted radio commentary of every single Wolves game.
Jimenez! Oh, you beauty!
But that's not all. Wolves TV also brings you extended and alternative match highlights, interviews with the team, behind-the-scenes features and training coverage, plus see every goal Wolves score from every angle.
Jota on the volley, oh, what a goal! That is simply stunning!
So check out Wolves TV online at wolves.co.uk or on the move via the Wolves app. Matchday Live on Wolves TV. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
So full time at Molineux then, Wolves 1, Tottenham 1. A very entertaining game, Carl Ikeme. Wolves, I think we probably agree, deserved at least the equaliser. Should they have got even more?
Yeah, very good performance. Very good game to watch as well. Easy on the eye. Some great movement into play between Traore, Podence, Neto out on the wide, out on the flanks, Fabio as well. And yeah, obviously delighted to get back into the game, which was fully deserved. And then with Fabio's chance at the end, I think I probably woke the kids up, to be honest, because I was screwing the house down, which he should have done better. But yeah, I agree that we deserved all 3 points today. And while we'll be happy that we did get back in the game in the end, I think in hindsight and on reflection, is it points dropped? I'm not going to go as far to say as that, but we definitely should have got the 3.
Chris Iwelumo, talk us through from the striker's perspective that opportunity at the end, because I kind of said in commentary, it just drops over the head of Eric Dyer, doesn't it?
No, it was a fantastic run. It was a great pass, and it's just he tried to put the power on it, and it never needed it. It just needed. He knew where the goal was, and he just had to direct the ball. You know, it's one of those. It's very hard for a keeper because they're planted, and as soon as you put it in towards that back post area, you just got to guide it. And he's tried to put the power on it and go towards goal, and it was one of them. But I've got to say, it's 2 points dropped. I thought we were excellent. I'm saying that we should have won the game. It's a penalty kick, Tomo. You're right. It's a penalty kick. It doesn't matter. I say this. It doesn't matter if Fabio Silva does a somersault, 3 somersaults, and lands to the floor after he's touched. There's contact. No matter if it's soft, it's in the box, and there's contact. Eric Dyer has kicked the Fabio Silva's heel, and then he's went on to kick the ball. So wait a minute, if there's that much force in the contact that it's actually made Fabio Silva kick the ball away, it's a penalty kick. If they're looking at it at Stockley Park, how can they say there's no contact? It's rubbish. It's absolutely.
We said as well, if anywhere on the pitch, is it a foul?
A free kick.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm interested in for you two boys watching it at home. What did they say on the telly in that? I don't know whether you know.
I was just about to say that they didn't really mention it after.
You know what they said on the
carried
telly?
on.
He went down very theatrically. Who cares? You know, it doesn't matter how he falls to the floor. Is there contact? Yes, it's evident. It's very evident there's contact there. So wait a minute. You know, if me and you, Mikey, you take the ball around me in the box, and I just clip your heel, it doesn't matter. And you don't go to ground, but you don't get your shot away. It's a penalty kick. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't go to ground. I've clipped your heel. That's what. So this is why I'm trying to say now that players throw themselves to the floor and leave it to the decision. But you know what? I don't understand how anyone can look at that and say it's not a penalty kick. It's a penalty kick.
I think in my opinion as well, I think my opinion of what penalty kicks should be, it's not that. But my opinion on what penalty kicks are given, it is that. It's blatant.
Yeah,
that's the point. I think,
and that's the point in all of this, is that these decisions are given week in, week out, and they're soft decisions. And arguably, that might be a soft penalty in our days.
It's not a penalty.
It's a penalty. It's a penalty nowadays. And I can't believe that he's not even gone to the monitor to have a look. I can't believe he's not even said that. It's contentious.
I've just said about the Man City game here. So look,
Riyad Mahrez here last season. In fact, a year ago to the day, wins a penalty in a similar thing where there was a little touch afterwards. And I pointed out, there was obviously the one that got a lot of TV coverage, which was Brighton against Liverpool the other week, where there's the kind of faintest of touches. And yet Wolves had one very similar with Adama Traore at Arsenal the other week. And it didn't get given, and it didn't go back and get checked on again. And look, we're not going to sit here and kind of talk about all this VAR stuff that goes round, but it's so frustrating when it doesn't go for your
But
team.
I would say, but on what penalties are now, I'd say that's a clearer decision than the Arsenal one.
Totally agree.
You can see the contact being made, and his foot, it slowed it down enough for you to see the contact as well. And like Loom said, he's ended up kicking it out of play, out for a corner kick. So it was enough contact for him to sort of put him off balance. Obviously, you have to go down or you don't get him. So I can't believe he got overturned.
Look at Fabio Silva's reaction as well. He's saying it's a penalty kick. He's actually saying it. It's a penalty kick. Look at his reaction. I can't believe they've not sent him to the screen, because I feel if he did go to the screen, he has to give it.
That was what my opinion was at the time. I can't believe they've not told him to have another look at it just to check. And I think if he has another look, I actually think he has to give it. But that's why I don't understand. Well, what's happened at Stockley Park? Should you not be feeding that down to the referee on a day? Because that's what you're there for. And you've seen it given so many times as well. That's the disappointing thing, is that it goes into that category of you've definitely seen them given.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But we've got to talk about the reaction. The second half again, we just started where we left off, getting the ball down, and you know what? There was so many excellent, and like Neto again. You know what you're going to get, and he's a joy to the eye. You know, when he opens up, and it's just, and the ball wasn't even a bad one at the end there. No. You know, it was Lloris dealt with it very well. You know, but you get so frustrated with it, don't you? You think, you know, that it's small margins, and that would have been another fantastic scalp.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the goal that we did get. It came eventually. Pedro Neto had kind of taken over the set pieces, and because João Moutinho had gone off, they didn't do that kind of play it short and try and change the angle. They just whipped it in, and it worked an absolute treat, Tomo.
Yeah, it was. I just said seconds ago, didn't I, bet the quality in the top third needs to be better, and then you get the quality from the corner. So like the movement to Saiz coming across, getting in front of Kane, and we spoke about it time again. So like where we speak about movement, that's the thing that's going to get you the space in the penalty area. And it was a great header from him. He just timed it to perfection. Great balling from Neto, and again, he's get on level terms. But I just thought that the Wolves played really well this evening. I thought they passed it well. They come out in that second half like they finished the first half. And it just showed you what they wanted to do. They wanted to get themselves back into the game. And Looms just touched on about Neto. 90-odd minutes, you're watching him, again, just wants to run, wants to get at players, and that's what you want from your attacking players.
On that set pieces thing, though, Carl Ikeme, because there will be fans watching this, and I know it is a talking point as to the way Wolves have gone about set pieces sometimes. Yeah. And it is that kind of crazy thing in football that of all the work they clearly do on the training ground and work through these routines to try and change it up, sometimes just putting a good ball in there and someone getting a run gets you the goal.
We were quite dangerous from set pieces at times. I felt like we had some good situations which we could have done better on occasions, and there's such a massive part in the game which sometimes nowadays, because of the style of football and the way people want to play, it gets overlooked at times. It's been two kind of set plays that have settled the game. It's been a corner, a second phase of play from a corner for Tottenham's goal, and a set play from our goal. It's a massive part of the game. And size, I think Neto had a corner just before that, which he went to the near post. I thought it was a poor corner at the time, but I think obviously Size has seen that and thought, I'm running there next time, and it's a great header, and but they're a massive part of the game, and with Size in there and Fabio being more of a presence, and Codes need to be more of a presence in the box now, we can start to score more goals from them.
Yeah, then boys, so look, just put it to you about the corner, the set plays. You know, when the Moutinho's going out for them short corners and you're sending the lads up from the back, it drives me mad, because I say to Mikey time and time again, just put it in there. If we're sending the lads up from the back, we've got to put a ball in there. And a lot of the times it doesn't end up being put into the box because it either gets blocked. How would you feel about it as a striker then, Looms?
No, you're spot on, Tom. I think the way that you look at it, I think from a coaching point of view, the more variations you have, the harder it is to prepare if you're the opposition. So like you say, I agree with what Mikey said there. Yeah, sometimes just put it in there. Sometimes, you can change the angle. Like you say, it did. I think it was Connor Cody that probably put it straight back into the hands, where he could have just probably knocked it down to Silva, who pulled off to kind of get the shot off. So it can create, it just changes up the angle, especially if a team's marking zonally, which Harry Kane will be disappointed there. He's got to just come through and head that, because that was my position, either at the front or I'm right in the centre of the 6 yard. I'm not marking anyone, even when the players are marking up, and you just go and you put your head on it. So again, great movement from Saiz. Fantastic delivery, and it was met. And that's one of the ones as well, because usually goalkeepers want someone on their back post as well, and that's down to the goalkeeper if they want that or not there, Carl, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes I think I generally, if I was to have one, it would be on the back post, not on the front. Your front man can do the front space and both. But it was a great delivery and a great run from Saiz. Just to go back to the question of just putting the ball in the backs, I think because we're not blessed with Raul being out, Bali, that we're not blessed with as many presences and then Dunker as we normal. I think they're trying to play it short to manipulate movement in the box. I think swinging the ball in there at times, even though it did create our goal, apart from maybe Saiss, who's probably an aggressive attacker of the ball, Codes and Silva are not as aggressive at attacking in the ball. That's why I think maybe that manipulation, which they need to be more aggressive in it, because I felt like we did manipulate some good situations from set pieces.
Last couple of minutes, boys. We have Manchester United up next, and not a lot of time to try and turn it around. The big question will be, what do you do team-wise? We've gone back to 4 at the back tonight. I think we've all been fairly positive about the way they've played. Do you stay like this? Do you make any changes to the team? Tomo, you first.
I just think that he needs to look at the formation, what Brighton are going to play. I think the way that the danger is what they got. And look, I think it was effective tonight. I think the way that we played, we passed the ball. I think that he'll probably stick with the back 4 for the game against Man United, because of the way that we played. I think that the ones up front, the 4, caused a big problem. I think that the movement was good. I think the passing was sharp, and that was the big thing for me. We said about the Burnley game how slow it was, how methodical it was, passing it across side to side. I thought it had a little bit of a buzz about it tonight, and for me, I'll go with the 4 at the back. I say, look, I think he played well. Connor Cody, great there. So he's played really well, got the goal. So there's no reason why he would change it. He might change a couple of little things in there as well, because of the short turnaround with players. But apart from that, for me, with the way that we played, just keep it the way it is.
Played really well with 5 at the back and beat Chelsea.
Yeah.
Played really well with 4 at the back and maybe should have beaten Spurs Looms.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
No, well, I've got to agree with Tomo here. You know, I think you're going away from home, Old Trafford. You know, I think the thing that's probably missing at Old Trafford, I don't think it's going to be Moutinho and Neves. Yeah. I think Otasowie comes in there just for the fact that he's got that energy and he's up and down and he's a little bit more of a presence. But I think the personnel will probably be the same. I think Fabio Silva has to start for me just for the fact that he just stretches the pitch. His movement as well will cause United all sorts of problems if he gets the service. But I think he sticks with the 4 very much for the fact we probably should have stuck with the 4 against Burnley as well.
Were you saying Otasowie for one of Moutinho and Neves, or
I did, yeah,
amongst them and take out one of them?
No, I think for one of them. I think it's got. I just feel that obviously he's come off tonight, but we know what he brings. You know, I thought Burnley, he was choosing the moments to go up there and be that point man as well. But he's an intelligent player. He's got a presence. He's very mobile. And I just feel that as well as Neves and Moutinho have that relationship, I think away at Old Trafford, you just need a little bit more of a physical presence in there. And I think he brings that.
Carl Ikeme?
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of the 4 at the back. I think that's the way Nuno wants to go. I think there'll be times where we do see the 3 for moments, but I think we're looking at the personnel that we have now and the way they fit into the team. I feel like we are going to see more of it. And even though I think there's still going to be problems and it still might not always work for us at times, I feel like we maybe just need to get through them, the times where it might not click for the long-term progression. I think this is the long-term progression of having more of a ball, being more of a threat. And I think Nuno sees that. And I think we've had a lot of personnel change from the summer. So that's why I think at times the 3 hasn't always clicked at times. I'm not saying the 4 has, but I think a long-term, when I look at the players that we do have, I feel that it's going to fit our formation moving forward. So I'd stick with the 4 just because I want us to improve this formation. I know we can go. My head says I'll just concentrate on the United game, play 3 at the back. You played the game on 2 days before, just be a bit more solid. But I just feel like we just need to keep seeing it through to keep improving in this formation, because I do think it will pay dividends the more we play it.
Okay, we're just out of time. So just a name from each of you as to a man of the match. Tomo?
Oh, I think it's going to be hard to look beyond Neto again for me. So I thought he played well.
Just a name.
Neto. There you go,
Neto.
Neto. There you go then.
Looms?
Yeah, have to agree. I think again he makes things happen. Neto.
Okay, Pedro Neto. Keems?
Neto, and I did get the result right.
Well, I was.
You know, she never said anything.
No.
He never mentioned it, did he, Carl? That's just what I'm saying.
He was going to go. He's going to drop the mic.
I was about to say, my man of the match is Carl Ikeme because he got the prediction right. Congratulations. It is a Christmas miracle. Carl Ikeme has finally been right 15 games into the season. Honestly, you've got to be right sometimes.
Technicalities, I've not done all 15
When
games.
it's your time, it's your time. Congratulations. It's now Mikey 5, the pundits 3. So still
4.
He's making it up.
Is he on 4, Mikey?
What's that? Just going to fade you out there, boys. Thanks very much indeed. Merry Christmas to everybody watching, and of course to Chris Iwelumo, Carl Ikeme, and Andy Thompson. We are back in just 2 days' time from Old Trafford. Wolves have shown us tonight that they have the capability to take on these big teams. They beat Chelsea. They nearly beat Spurs. United's next. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas.